Okay, we are live
Well, let me open
without context.
We're building God.
a god.
Oh, speaking of building gods, I recently learned something I was not taught in American history.
You're gonna have to be a
That
lot
we
more
built our own
specific.
god whole cloth.
What?
Huh?
Wait, what? Say that again. Sorry.
America has a god. Her name is Columbia. It's what the
Oh.
District of
Yeah,
Columbia is
yeah.
named after. We invented a god whole cloth, and I didn't learn this till I was an adult. I took so much American history, and no one bothered to mention the god we made up.
That's the one that's in the Manifest Destiny painting, right?
It's in everything. She is everywhere. There's like a bunch of statues of her in DC. It was when the US had that whole Greco-Roman kick and you get statues of
Yeah.
Ben Franklin ripped in a toga.
Yeah.
I did not know you had that phase.
He's not ripped in a toga, but you know.
He's in a toga.
Okay.
He's in a toga.
It's just a toga.
Like you do.
The US had a hit phase where the Senate commissioned a bunch of statues that looked like Greek statues, but by the time they were done, the fad was over, so no one liked them whenever they were installed.
Classic-
It was a real good use of
Classic
time.
phase.
Classic America.
Well, that's just anyone who goes through a phase.
Mm-hmm.
My mom went away
But,
when
like,
I was
we
a
went
kid and was
real
like,
heavy
I
on
came
it, like,
back
a
because I
lot
knew
of-
you were into Superman. I got you a Superman costume. And I was like 7 or 8, and I was like, I didn't say it's word for word, but I was like, that's dumb. I'm into Batman now.
Batman now.
Pretty much, but
That's-
with really expensive handmade statues.
Yeah. That took like 20 years to make, probably.
Yeah.
Yep.
But yeah, no, the US built a god.
Mm.
It's
Is
relevant.
that why we're? Yeah.
But then we all forgot about her. It feels really disingenuous why people use Uncle Sam as the stand-in, except when our actual national deity is real. We built her.
And
we made
female.
her ourselves. That's why we forgot about her, because of the patriarchy.
Ah.
Yes.
Uncle Sam came in and we're like, he's our god now.
Can't have a god that shaves their legs.
Why?
That's unthinkable.
What'd you say, Marissa?
Who is even Sam supposed to be? Like,
I
why?
don't know.
I don't know.
The
The perfectly
mascot?
good goddess right there.
He's the head of the propaganda machine. Like,
Yeah.
All right, let's go to Google.
Oh boy.
Based
This
off
is
of,
relevant.
supposedly was
This is
based off a
relevant,
real
I
person.
Propaganda would be an
Sam
interesting thing to
Wilson.
be the power of. Wait, really?
A businessman
Sam
during
Wilson,
the War
the
of
Falcon?
1812.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Or more specifically, they probably did the reverse. They named Sam Wilson after Mr. Sam, apparently.
Probably. Yeah. Yeah. Uncle Sam supposedly based off a real person, Sam Wilson, a businessman during the War of 1812. Makes sense.
All right.
I wonder how
Last
close he was
time
to
we
the
became people,
depiction.
and this time we build a god.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
A god that has the estates of dreams, change, stories, and unfulfilling labor. Was that-
menial labor, I believe.
Menial
Something
labor.
like that.
No, I think unfulfilling is right, actually.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
unfulfilling work.
Unfulfilling work.
Unfulfilling work. Yeah. Can we just make like a dungeon master as our deity?
But like, if it's a Magister of the Wild, that's like the worst dungeon master. They only show up when like they care about the thing personally. It's like, no, guys, I spent forever painting this mini, so we're
We're
doing
gonna
the
fight the
encounter.
I
dragon.
prepped this entire detailed terrain map with like 3D printed tiles on it. We're gonna have this boss fight.
Yeah, and it's just for my DMPC. The rest of you can watch.
Yes. It's CR40 with my level 30 PC leading the fight with your level 10
But
ones.
it's weak to my magic sword.
Yes, which you can steal because it magically teleports back to my hand whenever it's stolen.
Now,
But
if
through
we
you.
if we change it to a serpent that is a DM, then they're just like, you know what? You go do what you want.
It becomes a sandbox adventure. You just
I'm
explore.
into Sandbox Serpent. I really like that idea. That it's
I like
a serpent that travels the world, changing it to be an encounter just for whoever walks into it first.
Yeah. He's like, okay, we're on this like path. I'm gonna like he basically is making real life encounters for the next person who walks in that area.
Yeah, I
That's
imagine it
was
like
responsible for
got-
most. It turns out most like bear and wild animal attacks are his fault.
I imagine it's just got like a giant like dark cloak, and then the cloak comes back, and it's just like a snake with glasses. So it's like this.
That's amazing.
I,
All right,
Uh,
thumbs up. Let's do it.
I
Alright,
guess that's what we're
I
we're
think
doing.
we're
making a serpent.
changing to Big Snake.
Aaron's serpent.
I don't think it's the glasses snake though, because that feels too silly.
That's fair.
That went over the line. That's the
That's
part.
over the line.
Sorry, the snake needs perfect 20/20 vision.
Mhm.
Apparently,
I was
It's
I
fine,
was
if you
thinking the
have
snake would have way more than
Have
20/20 vision.
contacts.
And I really, really wonder who its eye doctor was at that point. But
Yep. So, we're going with the snake GM.
Yeah, GM
Snake
Snake.
GM God.
Perfect.
No, it's Grandmaster Snake.
Grandmaster Snake.
All right. Zen, you have
okay.
your own avatar now.
And
Great.
and
It's a snake
can-
with your hat.
and as long as we're
200,
pitching,
250 trillion ton serpent that
yeah,
has a penchant for tabletop games.
as long as we're pitching concepts for what they look like, I'm thinking a really big snake with spots, no teeth, just eyes in its mouth,
I like it.
and the swish of its tail sets up encounters, just in its wake passively.
Ooh, its tail is like
A rattle?
like a painter's brush, and it swishes, and then it's like, oh, there's
Ooh.
a thing there now.
I
Yeah,
really
there's
like
just
the
like a bunch
painter's
of
brush
feather.
tail.
It's a big feathered
Yeah.
tail with like.
Yeah,
I think
colors at
also
the back.
it's the colors on its scales can actually like change and warp to look like images if it needs like to image to showcase stuff.
it can storyboard.
It can mimic any voice.
Yeah, it's storyboards.
it can
You
mimic
are
any
on-
voice, but it's also still so bad.
Well, also it still speaks with
I don't
long
think it
S's at the end
talks.
of every sentence.
I don't
I
think
mean,
it talks. I think
No.
it just wanders and sets up these encounters that it thinks about.
I
'cause
think
it's
we
what, the
probably
god of
need it to talk,
dreams?
but I don't know, Zen. Do we
It has
need it
to
to
It
be
mouth-
able
only
to
talks
talk?
through NPCs it makes.
Yeah, NPCs
That's
it makes.
actually very possible. Never mind. It can totally do. I know the game system.
You're
It has
making my
to
life
match all
difficult
of
on
the
purpose.
bits,
at
right?
this point.
So it has to be constantly doing the
It's okay,
unfulfilling
Zen.
work of
Every
setting up
NPC it
encounters.
makes has a completely unique, never heard before voice.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, it constantly sets up encounters endlessly, so it's unfulfilling work. It changes things. It uses its own dreams to design the encounters.
Yeah, it tries to set up
And
a
it
story
tells
arc.
stories.
And it sets up story arcs like as it goes and learns more about the world.
We're going to regret this somehow because
Yeah,
he's
exactly.
going to
100%.
our own imperator is going to betray us so that we can fight a final boss, even though we're like, but literally all of existence is at stake. And he's like, yeah, no, it's great.
I built a boss. I set it up.
That's the apex of the story. It's drama.
Yeah.
Okay. So
That
shall
was
it be
easy.
written?
I guess we're done.
So we
yeah.
did it. Like
Big snake.
like the entirety of last episode, we apparently speedran creating a god. Supposedly.
This is a horrible plan. We're gonna get stabbed by like goblin assassins in like a Walmart.
You're right. They're just like hiding and watching us behind the products.
Oh
They're
my
the
god.
Bakery Ninja Goblins.
All right, but it does need a name. We need to name it. Someone come
Oh.
up with a name for this monstrosity you've created.
Steve.
I do like the name of the Alan Wake 2 cop, which is Saga.
Oh.
Steve
The
Saga.
saga of Steve. Like the god's name
Saga
is
Steve.
the saga of Steve.
Saga
The
of
snake is
Steve.
the saga of Steve.
Is Steve the name of his original
Nope,
NPC?
the snake god's name is the saga of Steve. the main character of the story he's making up, and we're just playing bits.
His dad was Jormungandr, Jormungandr. It is what it is.
I don't want to go that far with the name. I like the serpent, but I can't take Steve seriously.
Okay.
Um,
The Game Master. Just with a bunch of
That's
S's.
worse.
I mean, that was part of the reason I was going with the Saga of Steve. I'm like, how many S's can we stick in this?
fair. Um,
There's
See,
gotta be a
if
name
this is
generator for this.
if this is a GM, they would give themselves like a title as their name. I mean, we could call. I don't think we want to call the GM the serpent, the Hollyhock God. That
That would
feels
be
a bit
very
much. Um,
I went to a snake name generator website for like your pet snake. I got Toothless, Slithers.
Of course we did.
The slithering story.
Oh.
I don't know.
Yeah,
This is always
names
the
are
hardest
hard.
part.
Yep.
oh yeah.
All right.
Well, they would see themselves as like this great storyteller, a bit pretentiously, I would say, as like this artisan of story moments. So they'd need something that would be suitably pretentiously like story craftery.
How about Artisan as that title?
Artisan could work.
Mhm.
The Chronicler is one I thought of.
The world artisan.
I dig it.
Yeah?
Um,
Saga Artisan?
I'm not getting anything good on my name generators.
I don't know why you thought snake name generator would help.
I went to a different one. It's no better. I'm getting
Shocking.
Gatorade, Sparky, Dino.
Ooh,
I
Sparky.
love-
You want to go
I
for
know what
Sparky?
we should
Very
call
good
him.
name
We
for
should
it.
call the
Hmm.
serpent the Master of Ceremonies from Apocalypse World.
Master of Ceremonies.
It's completely pretentious and
MC
great.
Snake?
Yeah.
That's your
MC Snake.
suggestion?
My suggestion is MC Snake. He insists everyone calls it by the full thing, but some
Excellent.
people don't.
Yep, MC Snake. I'm down.
Alright.
It's awful.
It's suitably pretentious to me.
I just imagine him with like a sideways cap, breakdancing.
The breakdancing snake.
Breakdown. It would. I can't imagine a breakdancing snake. It would look wild.
All it looks like is just flailing completely.
Cobra of Ceremony.
Cobra of Ceremony.
That's so good.
Perfect.
Alright. Is it worse now? Now that we have Cobra of Ceremonies?
I
I
mean,
think it's the
yeah.
perfect amount of ham.
Yep.
Actually, it tastes of chicken, but all right. So now that you have your Cobra of Ceremonies, I'm gonna wince every
I
time.
love how we accidentally like. I wonder what it would be like to be the power of role-playing games. And we accidentally stumbled into basically making that through our various individual choices.
Mhm. With
Yep.
no conversation between the four
No.
of us.
Not-
You
not
made
We're
at
it.
just
all.
like, I guess I'll be this. I'll be this. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's even one for downtime bookwork. It's
Everyone's favorite part, the resource cycle.
Mhm.
okay. Well, since you have your Imperator, I guess we'll talk about your Chancel.
Let's
So-
start with that word.
Yeah.
Let's
Yep.
begin there.
So-
What is that word?
Our
that you
own
said?
dimension, pocket
Yeah,
dimension, kind of.
Your imperator resides in its own little pocket dimension, and you create the pocket dimension.
We get to define what it is.
For example, one of the Council of Four, one of the big guys, has a pocket dimension known as Cityback, where it looks like an ordinary city, but like there's talking cars and like weird shit. It's Cartoon Town.
It's the Pixar. It's where Pixar's Cars was filmed, actually.
Yeah, it's kind of like that.
It's your chancel. Okay.
Yes.
I'm finding the
What
chapter.
page?
Yes.
244 is it, or 43?
Oh,
sorry.
It's
Sorry.
before the thing we were just doing.
Yeah.
Yep.
Good folk design. Where does Big Snake live? Is that the
Well,
question?
this is my order of doing things, but yeah, I figure
Oh.
it makes more sense to know who and what the Imperator is before you make your chancel.
That seems reasonable.
Is it supposed to be related to like our powers or no?
Can be anything.
I think it.
Um,
Yeah, it can be anything. I think narratively, it often is related to each of the powers of the Imperator. That's there.
Is this just where the Big Snake lives? What's the stakes of this chancel?
So the chancel, and we're going to skip the narrative creation of the chancel, which requires a lot of murder.
Oh.
Many,
How?
many, many murders.
Yeah, they probably
Um,
just tell us this after the fact, and they're like, "Yeah, we handled that for you. It's okay."
We handled the murders for you.
Oh, good. I'm so pleased.
Yeah, the value
I'll just
of
wake
life
up any
is not a
second. I'll wake
thing
up
in
any
this.
second now.
So a chancel starts as a place on Earth, usually a city or city-sized region, but potentially as small as a building or as large as a subcontinent. This place gets wrapped up in the Imperator's magic, estranged from the Earth, forgotten by it, and transformed into the kind of world the Imperator dreams up. The paths in and out become fairy paths, difficult to travel unless you know exactly how they work. The people and places of the chancel warp. They often, but not always, forget who and what they used to be.
Alright.
We start with a theme by deciding what kind of world it is. You can pretty much have any kind of chancel. You want wizards and dragons? You got them. Robots, sure. Zap guns, nanomachine swarms, whatever you want to do.
I mean, one of us has changed. How about all of the above? And each
Yeah.
time you go, it is completely different.
Which is
Oh,
fun.
I
Good
had
luck,
a-
Zen.
I had a bad idea. Instead of a real place, I want to steal an MMO.
I have an entirely different idea that also adds to the completely chaotic factor, which is this is the place people's minds go to when they are dreaming.
Ooh.
This is
Mm,
literally
except-
where all. Oh, is that already taken?
Yes.
Oh.
Somebody has.
So
That's
I-
a
so-
locust core.
Yeah, the domain's already registered when I try to get there.
Yeah.
Damn it.
Ah.
I do think stealing an MMO and permanently like sword arting people into it could be
That
fun.
does sound fun.
Here's something that I feel like fits sort of all of our estates. It's just a giant library.
That does fit the. I'm sorry, Marissa. Unfulfilling labor part.
And the books attack you.
Wow.
It's like it's a dungeon library.
It's a dungeon library, yeah, of course.
Dungeon
Oh
library.
yeah, it's a dungeon library.
It's a
middle school
it's a
dungeon
labyrinth, but the
library.
walls are books,
Bookshelves.
bookshelves. Yeah.
It's a middle school, age-appropriate dungeon library. We steal a middle school dungeon.
You mean we steal a middle school
We
library?
steal. Yeah, I was gonna
We
say.
steal a middle school library. We turn it into a library dungeon, but it's age-appropriate for middle schoolers, so they can get catapulted on
So,
their hero's journey.
If I'm imagining
Like,
this from the
that's
middle
the end
schoolers,
result
if
of
I'm
it.
imagining this from the
Catapult children into their hero's journey with a library dungeon.
so from the middle
So
schoolers'
this-
perspective, they never would have had a library, but there are rumors and whispers that hidden somewhere in the school
It's
is
just
a way
the
to get
YA
into
library?
the library.
If the
think that
kids
if you
don't
turn the
die, they
corner
get
and go
catapulted
down-
on their hero's journey after they advance through the library dungeon.
I think if you turn a corner and advance down it long enough, you actually do get into, like, you are now suddenly walking through whatever MMO world or whatever,
But only on,
and now
like...
you're in the next world, and now you're in this, and you haven't actually noticed the transition from library to that. It's just a matter of enjoy, you've been isekai.
Yeah, but it's a fairy path, so it's always like, if you stay at school too late or arrive too early and walk down this specific hallway, you basically get abducted.
Into the library.
Into the
Yeah, to the
library.
library. Because it's a labyrinth, can like our librarian be like a minotaur? Just
Of
at
course,
the center
yeah,
of
no.
it?
Yeah,
Well, as I
absolutely.
said,
it's an
the
old
residents
minotaur
transform
pushing a
into
book cart.
fitting it, so the
Mm.
librarian that is there transforms into a minotaur.
Yeah.
Excellent.
I just really want it to be safe for children. Like, the goal is not to kill the adventurers or to give them loot, but the goal is to send them on a trajectory in life where they are a hero
We're gonna
in a
Narnia all of
fantasy
them.
world that is regular Earth.
I mean, we mentioned isekai, and part of that is generally, and now you have your power fantasy and are the best at everything. So basically, all the kids that get stuck into this world get that too.
Yeah. What do you mean? I just got here. Why am I level 99?
I'm sorry, I survived the killing curse? What do you mean?
Okay. So
I do actually like isekai'd into a library labyrinth. Yeah, that's a good summary of what we...
And the snake can change stuff whatever they want.
Well, the snake will just like... Yeah,
wander
as a
through.
snake, as a snake
goes through the library, like labyrinth.
This-
That's cool.
I guess that's why it's kind of the boundaries and corridors. It's just the snake is as wide as each of the shelves are.
Oh yeah, all of the shelves are snake width.
Yep.
Like,
Wait,
you have to stay in the snake. It's like, okay, hold like next to the shelves, maybe. No, this is not.
I
working.
imagine there's also
Thank you.
multiple floors in this library, or is the entire thing one like nearly like infinite feeling?
No, you gotta have floors.
No,
'cause
yeah,
then you
there's levels. It's still a dungeon.
Okay.
So
Perfect.
And that way you can get
but the
staircases that make more
stairwells
Oh,
are
so many
those
pit traps,
sanitary
too.
government building stairwells where
Oh,
they're just
yeah.
like stark white and empty always.
With
What about the
when you get into the
Marissa,
staff areas.
the bookshelves that have the little like wheel so that you can like move them back and forth? What are those?
oh yeah.
Oh, for secret doors.
Yeah, for secret doors.
Yeah, this
Are we
has
gonna
its
have
easy
back
dungeon.
areas? Like, is this an actual library, or is this like the people's imagination of what a library is, which is just
Yeah,
basically
both.
endless bookshelves?
It's both. It's a real library. It's a real dungeon. It's a real training
So
ground
there is
for
like
children.
a break room and like events being put on, community events.
Yeah, there's book fairs. It's the whole thing.
Excellent. Donation
Yeah,
drives, book.
You can
yeah.
rent out the like a couple tables and do a D&D.
It's not quite clear where from, but somehow you can like if you can put in a request for something, and if they don't have it, they'll transfer it in from somewhere
another
else.
Yeah, but this is still a middle school library.
Yep.
Wait, does that mean that there's endless how do I use the printer requests?
Probably.
Oh, it's the media label.
It's a Minotaur's problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We don't
That's
have to
not our
handle it.
problem.
We outsource to a Minotaur.
Yep.
They have a really big axe and a book cart.
And they have tiny tiny glasses right
They
at the
have the
end
little
of their
tiny-
glass.
Yeah.
I'm just imagining a minotaur with like huge horns going.
like
All right, so-
stomps
Gesturing
over,
to a
shakes the
giant
books,
battle
and then
axe.
perfect.
So everybody give me an adjective that describes what it's like inside of this thing. One each.
Dusty.
Dusty.
It's there's one librarian at a middle school library. It's not that well cleaned, and the janitor hasn't been seen in like decades. Unfortunately,
janitor's
they've never found
gone.
their way in.
Unending? If that hasn't already been established.
Infinite.
Yes, thank you.
Tedious. Like, to gain power, you gotta pick like 900 of the same mushroom.
Oh, it's grindy.
Fucking fetch quests.
No.
It's tedious.
So we got
You'll
these
go under
5
your
reputations
journey,
you have
but
to
it's
grind
work.
through these quests.
Every NPC you meet travels at 3/4 your speed.
If it's like a high school library dungeon, it also needs to be dank, right?
Dank and dusty. Okay.
Dank and dusty.
Dank, dusty, tedious, endless.
That's a heck
Sounds
of a combo.
like school.
But there's wizards.
I think we should have something in there that makes it fun and exciting. For
No,
them.
you're just
I
stuck.
might change mine then. If we
I could change mine to like wonderful or wonderment, whatever.
Yeah, wonderful with the feeling of like there is a lot of wonder around.
Yeah.
Like,
You can
can
change
wander
because we
and
already have.
see a point of interest, and like there is a landscape of look at the beautiful waterfall inside the library for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna go with knowledgeable. At a middle school level, they have every subject under the sun.
Good. You can learn anything up to that of a 13-year-old.
Yep. You want to learn like magic? Here you go. But it like stops short of exactly what every single sigil means.
So it's tedious, endless, wonderful,
and knowledgeable.
knowledgeable.
That's better than dark
Unlimited
that's better than dusty and dank.
Dusty and dank.
I still want dank. I want it to be kind of moist everywhere.
That would
bad for the books.
ruin the books.
That would ruin the books. It's dry. That's what
It probably
No,
is.
I think
Yeah.
it's funnier if it's like gross.
Yeah.
I'm sure there are areas.
Oh yeah.
You could find the dank part of the library.
Yeah, it's underneath the massive air conditioner.
Oh yeah, it's like dripping.
Yeah.
Conveniently, it's where we keep all of the HVAC books.
Of course, yeah. It's convenient because that's where you would want to know about it. It's right there. Ignore
It's
the-
leaking.
Middle school level, so fixing the HVAC machine.
Yeah, it doesn't-
Yeah.
It's HVAC repair for dummies. That's what it
Yeah.
is.
So yeah, is that what you wanted? Is that a good god world?
I mean,
I'm so sorry, Zen.
no, that's cool. Okay, so next we need rules for this place, and I think we've
Oh.
already sort of gotten them. But they're things that express the Chancellor's metaphysical essence. No good explanation on what that means.
Repeatedly doing a task 100 times naturally makes you better at it, and the entire skill set around it. Like forging bronze ingots 1,000 times will make you able to forge the finest armor for some reason.
Yeah, so
Kids
you're
girls
saying
are awesome, but are not actually.
you're saying that if you do the same thing over and over again, you will get different results.
Yes. You just keep doing
just
it. You
will
get
improve
better.
by
You get better
completing the
at
same action
vaguely
repeatedly.
related tasks that you've never done before. You can now do perfectly.
So repetition brings mastery.
Yeah.
If you forge thousands of daggers, you can then forge armor made out of dragon scale.
Obviously.
Yep. Everything has numbers, I'm guessing, could be another rule. Like there are like gross amounts of stats.
There's stats
like
everywhere.
Endless stats for everything. Everything is quantified.
That fits both the library and the MMO.
Everything is. So how many rules are we looking for? 4?
Sure.
So we each get 1 rule.
I took someone's. I'm
The
sorry.
non-NPCs in the world are not really in danger.
Non-NPCs.
Basically, whatever kids came in, they are having a fun time or making endless daggers.
Okay.
But they're not actually going.
Plot armor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Plot
armor.
Plot armor.
But not for us. For the like human kids who wander in, they have plot armor.
We call them main characters.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if an adult wanders in, they are not exactly a main character, or we wonder how they got there, but they are an
No, they probably die.
They're open for death.
If an adult walks in, they're just dead because the main character needs to have a dead parent.
Yep.
Oh no.
Don't ever start mentoring one of these children. It's a guaranteed death sentence.
Yeah.
So
God.
adults are NPCs, kids are main characters.
Okay.
See, I'm trying to make it worse. Now, I feel like my role in this whole
I have
four-part
one more.
plan is you three give up things that are good, and then I make it lame.
That's fair. I was thinking random encounters to be one of the rules. Like every, like it just
Random
happens.
encounter? Yeah. It's like
If we want to do that.
Even kids will be like, it's like Pokemon where they will fight you and then try and take your money
Yeah.
if you lose.
It's okay, guys. If we don't move, there's less of a chance of random encounters. Not no chance, probably. The GM would know better. But
Oh, okay. What's the equivalent of tall grass in the library?
Dark
The stacks?
corner.
yeah, dark. Like you'll
Yeah.
be hallways as you turn a corner that the lights have gone out and you have to.
So far the rules we have are everything is quantified, repetition brings mastery, plot armor,
Random
dark corner-
encounters.
random
Considering-
encounters down dark corridors,
I don't think we have to be specific as to what it is, but yeah.
I think
danger in
random
dark
Wandering-
corridors.
Brings monsters.
In a labyrinth, wandering bring monsters. Good luck.
Yeah,
No
wandering
wonder
brings
the
monsters.
repetition thing's coming up. This is Zubat Cave all over again.
The Zubat Cave.
This world sucks. Good. All right. We have our rules.
And I think we've already decided on entrances and exits. How do you get in and out of this place? You being the people that are knowledgeable of how to do it.
Oh.
So we don't necessarily have to wander through high schools, which is possibly a good idea.
Yeah, so you can have like hidden entrances and exits in
there's-
single geographical area or paths to many
through the
different
book.
places.
Oh, through the
Like-
books, yeah.
I
So
do like the books.
every library on Earth can bring you to this place potentially.
I think we need.
Yeah,
It's not actually
which is-
libraries. We need a
think this
specific
book
book. We need to. We need to full on
Oh.
GM this. So we
Oh.
need to turn off
No,
most
the
of the
book
lights.
is- The book is there's a published book that we distributed.
Yes.
My idea is that if you read the book aloud with few or usually few, not no lights because you have to read the book, but few lights on, so you can't see much around you except the book itself. You and anyone nearby who can hear you will be transported there. When you turn the light back on, you're in the
You're in the
library.
library.
now. So it's
Yeah.
like super atmospheric GM, like reading box text basically.
Yeah, we got box text entry. There's
Yeah,
also the
you
front
need
door.
box text to enter.
And I think that in this book, again, it's just like you flip to the random page and it's got box text from everything of this is the most glorious emerald forest too. And here's what this kitchen table looks like. It's like you can get the most boring, this is who was this box text written by, to wow, this was described by someone who thought a lot about this thing.
And obviously you're placed where the box text says.
Yeah, within the labyrinth, which I think probably it would still be the library, but maybe somehow it would have decorations that look like enlarged GM props or something like that in this part of the library.
Oh, you
Now,
like,
in
like
middle
the,
school library chic, card like construction paper diagrams, like to make a tree or whatever.
I didn't just do that.
4 days ago, 3 days ago. Yep.
Then obviously the
Oh,
front
it's the
door
library
still
display
works.
of whatever you're reading. There we go.
Yeah. So,
The
so
front door
I'm gonna
works.
be that guy again. What's the name of the book that you distributed?
part
Um,
of me wants
How
to
to
name
win
it.
at role playing games.
The art of box text?
Ooh, the art of box text. That's good.
Yeah.
I think it depends on who's reading the book.
I kind of want to make it like a title that no one would read somehow. We
kinda
could
like
call
making
it Nobilis, the role-playing game, or something just like completely meta.
I do kind of like the art of the box text simply because if somebody who isn't us does these things just by accident, they are transported in a way that's not the safe, you're okay version, I guess.
I think it's 140 characters of escape.
Yeah?
Just a way to reframe
I
the
like
concept
that.
of a box text for a wider audience, and the book is just a series of them. But it's
Yeah.
like
It's just this like a collection. It's like a collection of box text from the best adventures, like
Yeah.
of all time.
Best and worst. I think there should be some
Most
utterly,
memorable.
why
Yeah.
did you put that in there?
Yep.
Yeah, but something, generically named for mass appeals, like 140 characters of escape or brief windows of a different world.
Who's the author? I actually like the idea that this is like a real book in the world that someone wrote, and then we adopted it and made it our portal into the world. Like there's just
I like to think that the snake made it.
the snake himself is like, this is
Yeah,
my
the
favorite
snake.
box text. I made a book.
Yeah.
I'm a published author
So
now.
by Cobra of Ceremonies.
Yeah, by the Cobra of Ceremonies.
Yeah.
Perfect. Everyone assumes it's a pseudonym.
Or horrible god. And I think as an added fun bonus, because we are sub-gods here, we have all bullied into the publication a reverse box text that we can read to send us to, like, our spots.
Where we want to go.
To, like, where we want to go from within the dungeon.
Oh. Okay.
We have, like, a box text of, like, a Starbucks bathroom to get us out to somewhere else.
So I might have to talk to my friend who's managed to make an make or find, actually. He might have found it. A text to speech for the Baldur's Gate 3 narrator.
Yes.
This would be perfect for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't
Okay.
think we can really teleport around the dungeon, but there are like passageways, secret passageways where you can duck between the shelves and get between places that are way further apart, way quicker than you should.
I just think we put backdoors into it, so we're not kind of stuck doing the
Yeah.
tedious boar hunt.
I don't know how much we're going to be involved. We're not ordinary people in this world.
That's fair.
Yeah, you have free reign of the chancel itself. You could, of course, I mean, your imperator could assign you the task of shepherding people through. That could be a thing.
Yeah, we can be tutorial quest givers. Hello, adventurers!
We enter, there's a giant exclamation point above our heads. We go, damn it.
Yep.
All right, so cool stuff. I think we got that. So while you're in your chancel, remember this, you receive a 3 MP discount on miracles, so it's cheaper to cast miracles in here.
That's all mirror. Yeah, that's a big deal.
Yeah.
We haven't gone over that cost yet, but that's huge discount.
Yep. Okay, so narratively speaking, you all created your imperator last time by putting a bunch of pieces of reality into a box and morphing them together into this gigantic snake that really likes dice.
No, this is a diceless game. You like setting up scenarios.
Right. So yeah, you do find yourselves after the blinding flash of light, deep within the bowels of the library, in a sort of circular room bounded by bookshelves, with the snake, the serpent of, or the cobra of ceremonies, sort of coiled up in the middle.
Serpent of Secrets is also an acceptable title.
No, they don't keep if they have any secrets, they're going to be revealed in like a grand monologue.
Sorry,
review.
the Serpent of Suspense.
Yes, that's
Serpent of Suspense.
As long as you add the extra S's for Serpent of Suspense.
Mm-hmm.
Great.
Perfect.
And you all look up to see the being that you created look down at you saying, "Thank you for coming all this way."
I guess it summons a second snake to speak for it.
I don't know if we would decide. Does
No, it needs to frickin' speak.
okay? Cool.
I have to do the elongated S thing. Come on. It looks down at you and says, "It is only through your efforts that these pieces of myself should remain in reality. I find it only fitting that you should safeguard them yourselves. Step forward." Does anyone step forward?
Derek does without hesitation. He's just kind of looking up like this thing looks cool.
If it kills the ghosts, then we run.
I mean, obviously.
Are we really gonna let it kill the kid?
He's a ghost.
Can you kill ghosts?
I don't know.
I don't hear any of this. I think.
Yeah,
Well,
the snake like comes down like level with you and says, "Your eagerness is most pleasing."
You look. I think he says, "You're really big."
That's a matter of opinion. It's all relative.
I'm really small.
You may be small, but your mind has traveled far. You have seen things beyond. And I will give to you my domain over dreams.
Derek is a bit overwhelmed. He doesn't. He's kind of not freezing up, but kind of only doing what is asked of him right now. So he kind of is listening, but doesn't respond even when said this.
Please present me your hand.
Yeah, he kind of again, as I stated, he reaches his hand out, and
Yeah, the serpent sort of comes down, and its large fang is the size of your body, but as it opens its mouth, the tip of the fang pierces your palm. And I don't know, what does it look like as the power of dreams enters into Derek?
I think it looks like so it's like you can see a venom like in a lot of movies you can see this like when someone's injected with usually like some kind of poisonous or plot contrivant venom, there's like colored veins going through their body from it. I think it's like that, but it's kind of shimmering and rainbowy instead of like oozing and sick looking. It's more like this prismatic light gets injected into his
Is
body.
it at 90? Is it at 90% capacity like you are, or is it like the only this is a real thing in your brain?
I like that it's actually like completely solid, so you can see it. It's not coming out of his skin, or they would first look like it. It looks like, yeah, it is shining from completely under his skin, not just at the surface.
Does it like? Can you see like your entire vascular system lit up
That's
with this all
exactly what I
like
was about to say.
spidery?
As it spreads, it starts looking. There's a brief moment as it fills up that it looks kind of like a. You can it looks a bit wire meshy by the end with just how much is covering him, and it glows brighter for a second, and then I think it flashes and then it's gone. But now Derek looks 100% corporeal, I think.
Did it
Oh.
unkill the ghost?
I think it did.
I mean, I'm glad he's not
That's a way to
dead.
kill the
Do we
ghost,
still
I guess.
Derek is he opens his mouth to say something, and then immediately collapses unconscious. Except you know what I mean. He's unconscious, but also
We
he's
punch a
unconscious.
dream soul out of the dream soul.
We'll get to it later. But he's just had a building block of reality stuffed into his soul. He's processing.
Loading screens for eyes.
Yeah.
It's a dial-up modem sound coming from him.
Yep.
I think as I see you collapse, I step forward to like pick you up and move you back away from the snake as best as I can.
If the snake kills her, we run.
Non as the snake attacks the friend.
We just keep moving down the line of who gets killed.
I don't think Derek is unconscious for super long. He wakes up like as you're finished dragging him back. And says, "Oh, hello. That was fun." He isn't just corporeal as he's waking up. He looks more colorful than
Saturation.
he was. Yeah, there's like a higher saturation level on his body than he both used to be, and then the immediate surroundings. Like, he's always really well lit, or yeah, it's he looks a bit very subtly different, but also significantly so.
No, Spencer. Perfect lighting was a power from someone from a different.
That was Kids on Bikes, I know. Yeah. No, it's not actually lighting, but it looks. It probably often will come across that way. But yeah, he has now. I believe what the book itself says is he has now become fan fiction of himself. That is the term the book
and I
uses.
think I like put my hand against your forehead because I have no idea what I'm doing here. I'm like, are you okay?
Yeah. No, I'm great. You should try it. That was fun. I'm like awesome now.
I'm glad you're feeling better, I guess.
He just looks and grins and says,
Has
like,
the snake been like silent this whole time, just kind of watching whatever
Just
this is
watching. Yeah, he's experiencing what it's like for you.
Yeah.
All
I can
right.
like I don't even know how to describe it. I'm like different.
I'm gonna poke the Victorian child.
I think actually no, I think when you poke him, like in the shoulder or something, like assume?
Yeah.
Okay. Your finger, I wouldn't say it doesn't go through him, but it's probably feels not quite solid still. It's more like
Ooh. Does it kind of
it
feel like
looks completely solid, but it still doesn't feel that way.
what's that? Like a non-Newtonian fluid, right? Like if you hit it, it's hard, but if you like barely
Oh,
push it. It's like liquidy.
Yeah, so it's probably a bit sandbaggy if you're like poking. It makes it
Yeah.
in between.
Ugh.
Yeah.
This-
Yeah, he's
okay.
still not entirely physically present. But
Cool.
So the serpent looks at the rest of you and says, quite the experience for your friend. Is there another that wishes to serve?
you guys should totally try this.
Fuck it.
Oh.
Just move
All right.
the shared looks between us before.
If it eats me, run.
Give you a thumbs up.
I'm like not the same person anymore. Which I
Sounds
know
like
is
you
not
came-
helping. But
You just came home from Burning Man. That's what it sounds
he
like.
does sound like that. Yeah, no, I'm aware. But
All right. Do you have to like bite me too? Because I'm like really afraid of needles. Could you just like not do that? And
it didn't hurt.
it's not the hurting part. It's the anxiety brain part.
Oh. I can make you fall asleep now if you want.
Do that.
Okay. And I don't know if we have to break out the mechanics, but
No, we don't have the mechanics yet. But I think the serpent sort of just looks at you and you get sort of lost in this mesmeric look in his eyes, and he just says, the brooding nature of your soul can be channeled into extraordinary narratives. Perhaps you are the one to tell stories for the ages.
Metal.
And do you offer your hand?
Yeah, if I'm like mesmerized, I go, ooh. It's like,
What is it? What does it look like?
I think very similar to like that whole like veiny thing, right? But I think his is actually like black veiny, but not like gross.
like
It almost
ink?
just looks like, yeah, it almost looks like ink, I think.
If you look really close, are there little letters?
Yeah, little letters or little like stick figure guys. Like,
Yeah,
A whole bunch of those middle school S's.
yeah, every
Oh,
language,
yeah.
including a non-language.
yeah.
Like, sweet. A lot of
Yeah.
of like manga characters as well.
Very poorly
Some
drawn.
anime.
manga
Yep.
characters.
You literally have the power of anime.
It didn't
now.
make you a good artist.
A
I have the
god.
power of God and anime.
You
on
do.
my side.
You do.
Okay. Yeah, so the serpent leans back again, looks at the remaining two expectantly.
I think I bite my lip and step forward.
Always looking to the brighter side of things, to bring blanking on a word for change.
Thesaurus.com.
Transformation or
To bend reality to one's own desire for betterment. You offer your hand?
Yes.
What's it look like?
I don't think that I myself seem to be changing, but if you stare at me for too long, I think there's almost a heat haze almost in
Oh.
the area around me. For a little bit where things are just kind of wavering. They're not quite you think you can, see a tree on the other side of that, but is it a pine tree or is it a deciduous tree? And suddenly it's both. You can't really tell or see clearly through those edges.
sort of an aura around you that
Yeah.
affects that.
Not too close, about a meter around, but it's a matter of until you're like holding a thing there. It might not be what you thought it was.
And for the last of you,
Yeah, I walk
one who
forward.
has mastered the art of a rather mundane task, perhaps you should master them all.
Set my hand.
What's it look like?
Oh, it looks like Dusty just freezes up, but in reality, it's 1,000 years of 1,000 meaningless jobs all at once.
Is it like the Matrix where in his mind he's doing them all like one for one in the
but
time?
simultaneously for 1,000 years of 1,000 different places.
Yeah.
Just wakes up,
It's-
I know
it's-
how to unclog gutters.
Yeah. It's
Whoa. I know
It's not
better
fun.
food.
It was a bad time. I think I vomit immediately afterwards.
yeah. If I see one more minimum wage paycheck.
Damn,
No, I
$7.25
didn't
an
ever
hour.
leave the jobs. There was no off time. It was 1,000 years of
Oh,
doing the job.
great.
For
No vacation days.
reward.
24/7 night shift.
Okay. Well, with that, now we got to actually make
It was a
character sheets.
horrible, traumatizing experience. I don't know why they let me do it.
That's excellent. I love how the like hundreds-year-old vampire had the worst experience out of all of us. I think it makes sense.
Yeah.
Yep.
JJ also throws up at the end.
But it's just like words.
It's
like
just
alphabet soup.
word vomit.
It's literal word vomit. Yeah,
Babbling over there.
it happens every so often as a side effect.
Little stick figure manga guys are like, "Whee!"
Right. I love it. Okay, so where's my creation thing?
Yeah, now can I suck the meaning out of people's employment?
the meaning out of their.
Yeah. All work is meaningful till I get there.
Yep. I could just see the presentation. Like if someone's doing a corporate presentation, it starts to lose all of the flash and like things that make it engaging. The video is replaced.
And it has
with
any impact on the company.
Of course, yeah. No, it's because everyone stops paying attention to it, and so everyone kind of forgets what it was about by the time they leave the meeting.
Yeah. It's
Okay,
vampirism.
I just flashed you a handout. If you look at Noble, I go to page 173 and set up some properties for your estates.
173.
I'm going to be jumping around a little bit here.
Sorry, what was the number again?
173.
Yep.
So, with your various estates, you must assign properties. Each describes something fundamental about your estate. Each can also be interpreted as a rule, something your estate must do or always does, something your estate can't do or never does, or something your estate is driven to do or seems to work towards. It's important to make these properties simple and evocative, even if that makes the rule harder to see. You are creating meaning for your estate, which is more important than obvious applicability. For instance, you're the power of cold, but what is cold? Is it cold when someone shivers? When water freezes? When the world goes into hibernation? Is death cold? Is money cold? Is murder? Does wind chill count as to whether something is cold? If you put snow in an oven, excuse me, if you put snow in an oven at 400 degrees, will there still be cold in that oven until the snow melts? Love how this book is written.
It's
what if the oven is floating in the
evocative.
frigid void of space?
Yep.
So it gives examples of of dividing these up to cold slows things down, cold chills the heart, cold brings silence, stillness, and peace, and cold is driven to fill emptiness.
Is one of the examples of an estate buckets? I think it is.
buckets contain things?
Yes.
God. So I have to write the sentence, unfulfilling work must do blank.
Yeah, basically do your best to describe what unfulfilling work is and means.
That is with 7 points, and you assign 1 to 5 points to each property.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And so if you wanted to, you could do 7 properties at one
between
point.
1 and 7, statements.
Okay.
Yep.
I guess 2 and 7 statements.
Yeah, 2 to 7 statements. I just want to put all of the points into unfulfilling work is driven to make all work unfulfilling. Just put 5 points in it.
So, what do these points lead to exactly?
These will inform what we can even use our power for.
Right.
So,
it gives definition to the word itself, because this is where you can be like, the word can be interpreted in 7 different ways. Well, interpret the word in 7 different ways and assign it points.
Okay.
I have painted myself into a corner immediately. Just right away in a corner.
What must unfulfilling work do?
Nothing.
I mean, unfulfilling work accomplishes small goals. Unfulfilling work does the heavy lifting.
Yeah, these are positive spins, I guess. Alright, I'm gonna start.
Unfulfilling work breaks the spirit.
Oh god. No, these are horribly mean ideas. There's only one use for powers of shattering spirit. It's like a gun. You can only shoot people with it.
These are...
Yeah, this is where we're going to get weird and metaphysical and stuff like that. So the most important benefit of a property is a metagame benefit. It tells you and the other players what your estate actually is. The fact of a property tells you a great deal about the estate. The rating tells you which properties are more important than the rest, so simply by recording properties, you're making the game a lot easier for yourself, the HG, thank you, and the other players. But they also have direct benefits in play. Powers may use the persona attribute to apply an estate property temporarily to themselves. For instance, the power of cold could use a persona miracle to say, I slow things down, or I chill the heart.
So, if I put one of my properties as like stories create heroes, that would help me like manifest people.
Yes.
Excellent. I'm putting that at 5.
I think you have a character.
I just want to throw out things.
He wants to be a legend summoner.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm up to 5 so far. I'm
at 4.
I'll vamp while you guys are thinking. You can use your estate's properties to tend it and make it healthier. For example, suppose cold is wounded by an extrusion or by imperial politics. You can strengthen it and tend its wounds by looking to its properties. For instance, wielding cold to make a great silence, stillness, and peace somewhere in the world. So when your estate is harmed, you do have to invoke it and re-strengthen it.
My thought for that was the driven to make other work meaningless. I want to vampire remove meaning from work to strengthen me. Just carrying forward the fact I'm a vampire previously into the worst god.
You can also get a miracle point bonus if the extrusions use that property to attack your estate, or you do something neat to honor that part of your estate.
Okay, I have a second property I just want some feedback on story, strength, and character.
Sure. Yeah. I have my 7. I
Yeah,
might
you
go
can
with
buff
all 7
things.
if it works. So I have dreams cannot affect people directly or consciously. Which I'll probably tweak to. I think I'm going to remove that one because I have a future one that overlaps with it too much. So, dreams can evoke any memory and emotion. Dreams are personal, intimate, motivating, and powerful. Dreams can only be experienced by those sleeping. That's the one that overlaps, so I'm going to keep that one. Dreams inspire hope and virtue. Dreams are shared to create bonds and community. And dreams allow anything to happen. So those are my
Yeah, that works.
6, I think.
Mm.
I'll make one of them a
I
level
think
2 one.
I think I got my 3 because my big one is I want to make people. So stories, great heroes. Story, strength, and character. Stories are eternal. So
Sweet.
character and eternal are at 1.
Got a lot of is statements, which I'm not loving, but right now I've got change destroys structure, change is inevitable, change is exponential, and change is terrifying.
I'm thinking I want 4 of them, and I only have 3. I have unfulfilling work is driven to make other work meaningless. Unfulfilling work breaks backs.
Perfect.
You're just gonna
And
break people's
unfulfilling
backs.
work does the needful.
Great.
What level is the breaking backs?
Probably gonna be a 1.
Okay. I just want you to do level 5 just so you can go pop and just
Just
snaps.
to shatter people.
And you're gonna turn into like the Ghost Rider of menial labor. Like someone's gonna wash dishes and feel the weight of their sins.
Bennett stare a bus boy. You can clean the table, but you can't clean your soul.
The examples are interesting. Like cold is a melancholy. How on earth did they put that together? But that's apparently the definition of cold.
Well, winter is like a melancholic season. Everything's like dead and frozen, and you know.
All right.
All right. I think I have. We get 7 points. Ooh.
Yep.
All right. I have mine with points. I reworded one of them to unfulfilling work removes the meaning from all work. At 3, unfulfilling work breaks backs at 1, unfulfilling work does the needful at 1, unfulfilling work is inevitable at 2.
Oh, we both have inevitability. Amused.
Yeah, no, that's fine. We're always there.
Yeah, you'll fit it right in with the power of death and the power of taxes.
Yeah. I'm a sub character to both of those. We're co-workers, if you will.
Okay. So now we have, since we have your
I'll reword it to
properties.
insured instead of inevitable, just so we have a semantic difference.
There you go. All right, so now you have 25 character points to spend on attributes. Attributes are rated from 0 to 5, cost 3 character points per level, and they're described on 178 to 217. They are aspect, which you use for physical and mental miracles. Basically, if you want to be freaking Superman, you want a high aspect. If you want to be Atlas holding the world on his shoulders, that's an aspect thing. Domain is the power to rule your estate, meaning instantiating it. The power of lightning, for instance, if they wanted to create lightning bolts, needs to use its domain to do so. Persona plays with the meanings and boundaries of your estate. Basically, if you want to get weird with your persona, you can do that. Let me see if I can get a better... So persona miracles often refer to your estate's properties, the rules of your estate, and that make it what it is. But sometimes you'll realize in play that you've missed something important. Perhaps the power of reefs, and a key rule of reefs is that the reefs grow between the wide world and a thing. But when you made your character, you weren't thinking about things like that. In such a case, you can always add a 1-point property to your estate, and then between stories, adjust the points allocated to your various properties to get back down to 7 points worth again. Persona miracles, like domain miracles, divide in greater and lesser effects, blah, blah, blah. So, for example, going up the difficulty scale on Persona,
Sorry.
it's reflexively difficulty 0 persona to invoke the sight. The mundane forms of the world blur and fade, and it's a little harder to make out what's going on around you, but the things that have deep connection to your love, hatred, weal, and woe to your estate snap into focus. So, using a difficulty 0 miracle, you can see through your estate. Then it goes up to a blessing or a curse based on your estate.
So if I wanted to hypothetically inflict someone with a very specific variant of vampirism, that in a pyramid scheme faction funnels meaning from people's jobs to me, that would be Persona?
That's my understanding, yes.
Okay.
So
So there's aspect, there's domain, there's persona. Like, is there a condensed list?
Oh, and treasure, apparently.
And treasure, yeah. Treasure is weapons and other paraphernalia if you want relics and artifacts and things like that, or if you want to co-opt
Spencer, you're muted.
certain people. You can use it to create treasures inside of people and make them your profit or whatever.
I wasn't muted, I just didn't have my mic there. Yeah, if you want to also make avatars or NPC champions, you can imbue people with your power too, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Is that treasure or is that domain?
That's treasure.
That's treasure.
So I want a high treasure?
If you want to have...
If you want to use existing people and be like, that one's going to suddenly become, Ein.
Okay.
You choose the, like, middle schooler who is the highest level person, and they're the main character, and now you make them the main character of, like, all time.
But if I want to, like, pull out, like, if I wanted to go, oh, I want Ein here right now, that would be domain?
Yes.
Yeah, domain is yeah. Treasure
Domain
is investing your power into existing things, I think. And
domain is sort of creating its,
Okay. And Persona is like, oh, I forgot, like, what if I want to summon villains? Then the Persona would be trying to do that, right?
Yes. Persona is the one I have the least grasp on, honestly.
Okay.
It sounds like
I'm being honest.
Treasure's the best curse generator, then.
So aspect
for your
persona,
power, yes.
You can imbue people with menial labor with treasure, I think.
Exactly.
Well, I'm trying to build a metaphysical pyramid scheme that'll just siphon power towards me. So we have, you said 25 points?
And it's 3 points
and
per
3
level.
points per point.
That doesn't divide.
No.
Is it exponentially more? Or how does that work?
There are other things you can spend these on later on down the road.
Oh.
Perfect.
So you're saying I probably shouldn't just put 5 into domain right away?
So I would recommend having at least 1 or 2 in everything. just so you can play around in the space. You were because you kind of need to see how this works. We're not these aren't set in stone. Between sessions, we can reconfigure. Keep scrolling past what I need.
I might
So what's a
intentionally
safe
keep
amount of
myself
points
at
to spend
aspect
on
0.
this?
Sorry, what was...
Yeah.
What's a safe amount of points for us to spend on this if we're supposed to hold some for later?
20-ish.
Yeah, most of it.
So, because it's 3 points each, 20-ish is...
Like, I'm going to spend 21.
Mm-hmm.
So about 7.
Yeah, I think I'm going to intentionally stick with aspect 0 on my character because of who they are. I think it fits best.
You just don't have an aspect?
Well, aspect is like being physically, like, strength and dexterity basically better than everyone else, and I don't think that is my character. I think they're more going to focus on the other ones.
Yeah, so aspect 1, like, just so you know, aspect 0 is peak performance for a human because you are gods.
Yes. So I'm happy with just 0.
1 goes to like enhanced performance, 2 is pulp heroism, 3 is inhuman perfection, 4 is divine force, 5 is legendary mastery, and then it goes up to 9 with like 8 is world shaken skill and 9 is mastered technique.
I think I'm just not gonna have persona, because by estate is regimented by its very nature, that it's vaguely immutable.
Persona is also blessing and cursing things, enchanting things, incarnations.
Yeah, let's see. Yeah, maybe because you want to. Well, I mean, if you're
I want to
doing
give people
treasure,
weird job vampirism.
yeah, you could also probably do that with persona, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, but I won't have treasure, because I feel like I need to lack something because of my real lame estate.
Okay. Treasure.
So treasure is your iconography. It's the stuff that means something, that says something about who and what you are. It's the symbols of what you're about. The general term for this stuff is your anchors. There are ordinary anchors like friends, enemies, parents and children, wristwatches, tenements and cars, things you're bound to, things you care about, but which have no power of their own. Wondrous anchors are extraordinary things like bottles of elemental fire, mechanical brass wings, ice summoning swords, unicorn mounts, cinematic hacking programs, etc. And then miraculous anchors, which are allies and possessions with miraculous nature of their own. So basically, something that's on the level of you still being one of your anchors.
Yeah, I got treasure and aspect at 1, domain at 2, and persona at 3, with the main explicit purpose of cursing people with meaningless work.
Perfect.
I put domain at 4 and the other 3 at 1 because I'm not really sure how much I want to play around with them, but I figure a 1 allows it to at least give an attempt.
Mm-hmm.
I've gone with 3, 2, and 2. So 0 for aspect, 3 for domain, and 2 for persona and treasure each. After looking at the book and seeing what levels tend to be associated with what frequent power usage, I think that makes the most sense.
All right.
I did aspect 1, domain 3, persona 1, treasure 2.
Okay. So each of these corresponds to a couple other things on your sheets. You get free mundane cool equal to your aspect trait. So for your cool, add your aspect rating.
I now have 1 cool.
See, becoming a god made you cool.
I'm a little cool.
Max, I think max cool is still 5 even after this.
Hey, suddenly I have 1
Likely,
cool.
yes. Higher domain also, so domain improves your divine mantle, your raw offensive power. That'll come into play when you invoke your divine mantle. It's a right that comes in later.
Is that the domain one?
Yep.
Okay.
It makes it easier for you to attack people with your estate, basically. Higher persona is the opposite of that. It improves your potential Octoritas Magister. It's defensive zone control. Basically, you can give your miracles a shield. And you'll get free mundane shine equal to your persona trait. So you can up your
Hey,
shine.
I have a shine of 1.
Oh, I have shine and cool at 3.
Nice.
I am so cool
That's-
and so shiny.
Good when mundane things get in your way.
They won't.
Send them on a hero's journey away from us.
Hero's journey on that way. Thank you. Fetch me 7 different speckled mushrooms with no 2 speckles matching.
Fetch me 7 bear asses.
And remember this for the next step. For your treasure rating, you get 1 extra point of bond for every level of treasure you have.
Oh.
And can spend unallocated bond points on newly acquired anchors during play. So if you don't spend those, you can play to find out and make anchors along the way.
Okay, so plus for me +2 bonds, right?
Yeah, if it's at 2, yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So sorry, is there anywhere that we can write that down, or is it just a matter of remember?
Make a note somewhere on the character sheet. I don't know.
Fair
I
I-
noted it for now just next to my stats themselves, and then I will get to it afterwards.
Okay, next portion. Okay, so along the lines of miracle points, they're labeled as MP on your character sheets, I believe.
Uh,
So miracle points max 10.
Yeah.
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 Yes.
You get 5 miracle points for each of these 4 attributes for free.
They all start at 5?
Yep. Each character point you spend gives you 1 extra MP per attribute. So, for instance, if you spend 2 character points, you will have 7 aspect MP, 7 domain MP, 7 persona MP, and 7 treasure MP.
Okay, and character points are an entirely different system.
The
Or is that
character points are what you just spent on your attributes, on your stats.
okay? So they're
So if you want to spend more, you can. If you want to spend 2 character points, you can have 7 instead of 5.
Miracle points are a currency we spend in play to
Yeah, that's
boost our miracles beyond their base level, which is what our stats are their base level.
mhm.
Are
Are
these
there
like
other things that you can spend character points on, or is it this and what we were just doing?
So this is why I said there's more stuff to spend the character points on afterwards. So if you want to spend additional character points on having a bigger pool of miracle points, you can do that here.
And
So if I
this,
spend 1
instead
point,
of
I get
costing 3
6s?
points, it costs 1 point each for bigger miracle pools. Or
Each character point you spend gives you 1 extra MP per attribute. So yes, if you spend one MP now, all of those go up to 6.
So
all of
instead
them.
of
So
5.
1 point
Yes.
is for. Oh, that's a big deal.
I'm making that trade immediately. They're all going to
Oh.
6.
so? If my aspect's at 1, I have 6 miracle points in aspect, right?
I think if your aspect's at 1, you have 5 because we start at 5.
Start at
Yeah,
5.
you have to. Even though
no, if
you
your
know, you
aspect,
said you
it'll be at
spent
6 because you can
21
be at
points.
0.
Yeah, you can be at 0.
So if your aspect is at 1, you'll have 6 MP in aspect.
Okay. I don't think I want to mess with that because gifts are also you spend character points on, right?
Yes, gifts is next.
I'm going to save mine for gifts.
And
Gifts are custom powers. Sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, just clarifying. So if you have domain at 4 something, you would have then 9 miracle points default
Yep.
in that? Oh.
Mhm. in that domain, in domain miracle points.
Yeah.
No, you have to spend extra for the miracle points.
You have a base of 5 plus your stats. Plus,
Yeah,
if
5
you want to
plus stat.
spend each single point you spend gives you 1 extra in all 4.
Oh, heard.
That's
No? Did I mishear that, Zen?
nope. It's just 5.
Oh.
It's 5. It's 5 at all. You don't add your rating into this.
Okay,
you don't?
So,
I thought. Okay.
okay,
5,
so
and you spend leftovers to increase it.
I see.
Yes.
Got it.
that is more what I was understanding. Okay, good.
So all mine are at 6 because I spent 1 of those points and I have 3 remaining.
I'm
Okay.
still going to save my points for looking at the gifts. That I don't remember what gifts are, so I'll wait.
Yeah,
Just
gifts.
see what's up.
Gifts are custom powers like incredible luck, teleportation, or the ability to fly. They cost anywhere from 1 character point to more than you can afford. For example, playing an immortal flying shapeshifter costs 8 character points, while absolute cosmic power costs an inaccessible 39.
So we're on to
How do we know how
gifts.
much
And
cost
what page is that?
Gifts
228.
are 220.
220.
So gifts, you can have gifts that are attached to each stat. There's aspect gifts, treasure gifts, domain and persona gifts. So aspect gifts are, some kind of aspect miracle that your aspect level doesn't, or the aspect rules don't allow. Pick a passion or skill that governs that kind of thing that you want to do, and the miracle level that you want to do it with. What this is really good for is treasure gifts. So you want to have some kind of cool artifact or collection of artifacts, but for some reason, such as MP cost or not wanting it to be a bond or feeling that it's anti-thematic for your estate, you don't want to buy it through treasure. Pick a focus or set of foci, which function exactly as anchors, save that they are connected to you through your bonds. And the treasure miracle you'll use to manipulate it. For instance, treasure 3 level, you can have a supercar. Treasure 7 level, a helpful miraculous creature. Treasure 5 level, an amazing sanctum. Just cool shit that you want, you can buy as gifts. Then they don't have to necessarily be connected to your estate.
You said that dreams generally happen in the locust forest, right? What would a safe...
People that are dreaming find themselves there.
Okay, what would be a type of gift that is basically safe passage to and from there? Like the locust forest.
The locust court?
Locust court? Yeah.
Yeah.
Just to like always be able to access it if needed.
Lord Entropy's seal? Because that's his chancel.
Of course it is. Of course it's his. All right. How many character
like
points would that be?
A writ of passage?
Yeah. I have no idea how many character points that would be. Base cost.
I'd call it I'd call it 2.
Okay.
It's more limited than a supercar.
It is.
So I have scrolled down and managed to both confuse myself and make myself interested. What is strike?
Strike. Okay. Get to it.
It's for when one person's miracle comes into conflict with another person's miracle, I believe, and it's how you overcome another person's miracle with your own.
Basically. Let me get to the actual definition of it. Not that that's going to help us in this book, but right. God, even the glossary's fucked up.
You may buy strike for your gift. It costs 1 point per point of strike. So basically, it's a matter of, okay, I dump points into that, and when doing a miracle point battle off, it's going to be more effective.
So here it is. You're facing someone with an affliction or invincibility, or an Octortus Magister, so that divine fucking shield that you can put around your miracles, or divine mantle that's crushing your miracles, or someone throwing around a high level miracle that you want to use to prevent it. So you put all your heart and drive behind a single miracle. You infuse it. You make it a spear of thought, a pure and blazing breath, an incomparable expression of your heart and soul. To do that, you basically spend one or more MP. It's a reflexive action. Each MP spent buys a point of strike. So it's basically spending MP on your miracle. Strike also comes from, you know how we put together an action using your skills and passions. You're gonna set up something called a bond. A bond, if you can invoke your bond on the miracle, that gives you free strike.
And with it saying here, like, you can buy it for your gift, you can actually then spend character points to just up it every time as well?
You can have a thing that automatically adds to it. Yeah, it's a +1 sword.
+1 sword. Beautiful.
I am confusion.
Yep.
They're
Yeah,
superpowers. It's buy it. I think I got it. It's buy a superpower. Is really what it is.
It is literally meant to be powers that aren't based on your own estate. If you want some extra stuff, so if you want some vampire superpowers, you could get them here. If I want to exist outside of my body and not be dependent on it, I could get a form of immortality. I'm intentionally not doing that because that's more interesting to me. But yeah.
So something that's not necessarily related to.
Yeah, just name a superpower you think your character wants, and then there's a little chart that you build the cost with.
Yeah.
Where is that chart?
It's not convenient.
It is.
It
starts on page 223 and ends on page 227.
Oh,
That's
okay.
the chart.
Yes.
There's then a list of
area
common,
of effect, flexibility.
There is after that a list of examples, so you can use that for ideas. So shapeshifter.
We can go through it as a team if you.
Yeah. So common gifts. If you want flight, that's a character point. If you want to be eternal,
I think it's more that we break it. That you break it down for flight.
Well, it's an example.
Yeah, flight is an example that shows it. I'm gonna grab immutable, which is not that I'm still not immortal, but I don't need like food, water, or sleep, like stuff that would make sense with being a dream, kind of a dream person. But I think it's, even though I have the domain of dreams, so I shouldn't need this, it's kind of different. This is projecting myself into reality more than just being a dream person. Also, it's just 1 point. So I'm going to grab it.
So here's where you can buy Durant, which is basically you become Wolverine. You heal very quickly. Things of that nature. Physical attacks are less damaging to you. You can be elusive, meaning that it's hard to land miraculous effects on you. You can be a shapeshifter. You can be glorious.
I think I have 4 points left, I think. I want shapeshifter. So how?
So if your avatar is based on werewolves or vampires or a dragon or something, two of you should pay attention here. You may want to buy 1 or 2 alternate shapes. This is based on a lesser enchantment of the wolf or some other estate appropriate to the form or set of forms you can take. If you want to be able to turn into almost anything, this gift will cost double, triple if you literally can make yourself into anything. So 3 points if it's I'm gonna be, a Grecian urn.
Okay. So 3 is if you want to be like the Wonder Twins, like form of a bucket of water, right?
Yep.
Got it. Okay. And then 2 would be almost anything.
2 would be a limited selection, and 1 is I shift my form into this specific thing.
Okay. I think I want to do Shapeshifter 2 because I am an angry boy. I would like to turn into things that people turn into when they're angry in media, like a Hulk or a werewolf or, those kind of things.
Okay, so shape-shifting into rage monsters.
Yes. And that would go under gifts, right?
Yep, that's a gift.
Um,
It's technically considered a level 4 persona miracle.
what if I have Persona level 1? How does that work?
Oh,
Then
it's a
it
gift.
costs.
That's why
Oh,
it's a gift.
Yeah, so then it starts at 4 points because it's a Persona level 4 miracle. And then you figure out, does invocation raise or lower it? The
okay.
area, flexibility, and then based on the attribute.
So mine would just be
That's
2 because it's automatic +1, but self only and limited, right?
yeah. So the
Mhm.
final cost is 2. I'm trying to figure out what devoid of meaning would be as far as an attribute.
Devoid of as far what do you mean as far as an attribute? Like as far as like which of these which of your
Yeah, I'm
stats?
thinking it would be aspect
No, it's actually probably persona.
persona. Okay,
Yeah, that sounds like persona.
like persona
Oh, what level that would be?
3,
5.
5.
Lesser sacrifice. These miracles take the dharma and or properties of your state away from something. So you pull your estate out of it. Or if you're in your case, it could be a 4 because you're adding your estate into it.
Yeah, I think
You're
it's 4, so it'd be meaning vampire, attribute persona, invocation always, so that's +1, so that's 5. And then it comes out to -3 because it's like a real one-trick pony. I guess it's 2. 4.
the base cost of 1. So if you get it all down to anything less than 1, it's still 1.
No, it's a 1. Cool.
Okay, I think I've gotten mine. So I had 4 leftover points. So I'm spending mine on 2 points for that seal of passage I mentioned, 1 on immutable, and 1 on flight. So just ghost flying, basically. I can just kind of hover around. I don't need wings or anything.
Okay.
I
Um,
think I have it if I'm not actually playing around with gifts much. I'm had 4 points left over. I was going to stick 2 of them into the thing we were previously talking about to buff the miracle points. I'm not sure where to actually write that down. And the other 2, I was going to straight up drop into whatever that strike was.
Okay. So I would put strike like above your cool and shine.
Okay.
We've got some other things that are going to go in there too. Just a second. We might need more lines in there. We might need to make more lines in that table. Because there is one other thing you can spend any extra character points on. Each character point you spend for inherent superiority buys you 5 passion or skill points. So you can go back and add more passions and skills in with any leftover points you have.
Cool.
Um,
Can you
this
ever
is
get more
where
in play?
what's that?
Can you ever get more character points in play?
Character points? I want to say Destiny can translate to that. I'm not positive though. I hadn't really looked at leveling up because I've been trying to wrap my mind around everything else.
Fair enough for some reason.
Yeah. So now we're on to
I still have 2 more
bonds.
points.
You still have character points?
Yeah, I still have 2. Yeah. Do we spend those on bonds too? Because I might just do that.
Well, you can spend them on passions and skills. Actually, hold on to them because you might just want to go back and give yourself like more miracle points or something. You know.
Okay.
All right. Next is bonds and afflictions, page 161. This is gonna take a minute.
Okay.
So, bonds and afflictions are written as English language sentences. Each describes something fundamental about your character. Each can also be interpreted or understood as a rule. Sounds familiar. Something you must or ought to do, something you can't or shouldn't do, or something that drives you into action. So these are just like your estate properties. These are the properties of you. There's a bunch of stuff that goes into bonds. Why you want them. Bonds can be pretty awesome things. You can be uncatchable or invincible or beautiful as a bond, for example, and then it's not so much as a burden as a tool. So if you have the bond, I can't be caught, or I can't lose, or excuse me, I must be the prettiest person in the room. Conversely, bonds that are weaknesses or demands are also useful to you. When you get into trouble, or when they get you into trouble or motivate you into cool sorts of action, you gain extra MP. So we're familiar with this concept. When a trait makes your life hell, you get rewards.
God, there's just
Everything
so
is
many things that
burning
kind
wheel.
of sort of overlap.
Everything is burning wheel.
So I have a few that I've already pre-listed as ideas, like almost a dozen that I definitely can't go with all of them. But
How
like,
many bond points do you get?
So
13,
there's
isn't it?
13 to divide among bonds and afflictions.
Yeah,
Ah,
the
okay.
big difference between a bond and an affliction is a bond comes into play when you choose. A affliction comes into play when the GM chooses, but it's also a lot harder for other things to oppose it. That's the upside to it. So a bond is weaker both on yourself, it's not imposed on you, but also on others. An affliction is stronger on you and others. So examples that I'm considering is I can make friends with anyone. Um, Most people forget me a short time after I leave them. I'm frequently haunted by someone who claims to be my sibling is there again. Um, I can't be seen by ordinary mortals unless they are dreaming. I always do whatever first comes into my head. So it's kind of a mixture of traits and instincts in
Okay.
terms of how they're written.
Are they related?
Also,
I
to
recommend
state?
just writing them out first and then choosing if they're a bond or an affliction after. That's my own personal recommendation.
yeah,
Are
so go ahead.
They are not
Are they
related to your
related to your-
estates. They could be, but they're meant to be. I mean, I heard what you're saying. That's what I'm answering. They are mostly my own behavior and about me as an individual, not my estate. They could be related to it if you want it to be, but they don't have to be. Um, so, like, I can make friends with anyone is one of them. It's completely unrelated to dreams. That's just my character. But another one that I'm considering is I am omnipotent within my own dream. Um, that's one that is related to my estate, but I might just cut that since I have other stuff that can handle it. But also, if I don't want to cut that, I could also double up on it if I want to add that, because this gets points, so the level that would be would add to the level of my own actual miracle.
Lucid dreaming. Lucid dreaming. Sorry.
Yeah, so all of it's pretty flexible as to what you want it to be, but I think the main focus is on you and your character. Who are they? You can make, like I said, I can make friends with anyone as a general, true statement until something intentionally breaks it. But that means I will be able to be friends with literally anyone we encounter.
Which sounds very familiar to a lot of people I know playing D&D.
Yes, I mean, there's a reason I'm starting with an excursion friend. So, it's not. So these are not meant to be beliefs like Burning Wheel in that they're how your character thinks subjectively. These are actually meant to be more objective facts of reality. Maybe they used to be subjective before we became a power, but if you state like I always sleep after I eat, that is factually a like an axiomatic statement now. We will, to simplify it, take damage when that breaks and it will stop happening, but it is not meant to be broken.
Yep.
Okay, so I'm having a hard time with this.
So
My first one.
to break it down to familiar terms, right? You know how you wrote instincts in Burning Wheel, and some instincts could be good instincts, some instincts could be bad instincts. Good instincts are bonds, bad instincts are afflictions.
Okay.
So far, I must come in when summoned for a job if my price has been paid. I just want to be a genie of menial work.
That is totally a thing. Yeah, there's examples in the book that's like when someone speaks your name 3 times, you appear. That's one of the
Beetlejuice.
That's an affliction. It was just like, yeah, the GM says someone spoke your name 3 times, and then you're forced to appear elsewhere.
I'm only noticed what I desire to be. Mirrors and the harsh light of day still affect me. And I want one from Coming Back for the Dead, but specifically for my shift.
Specific.
So I don't return at the next dawn. I return in my next scheduled shift.
Death cannot stop me from getting to work.
Nothing stops me from getting to work. Okay. The only one I have written here because it's a stupid meme. It's I have to finish the story. I don't know.
Perfect.
That's a good one. Like you are driven to finish the story.
This one's a bit long. I want to run it by you, Zen.
Mm-hmm.
My body is still fully mortal and I can't affect it. Only my mind is a power.
Run that one more time.
My body, like original body, is still fully mortal and I can't affect it. Only my mind is a power.
Yeah, that's a hell of an affliction.
Oh yeah, I know.
That feels dangerous.
I know. I'm intentionally making my regular body fully mortal still. It's fine.
Congratulations, have a weak point.
It's a heck of a weak point given that I'm already in a coma.
How many? Sorry, it's 13 points that are going into these?
13 points, correct.
But
so you write them
plus
out and assign values accordingly.
And you add your treasure, right?
Right, and the difference between bonds and afflictions are how much you get to affect them versus how much the GM gets to affect them.
Yeah, afflictions I invoke, bonds you do.
Yep. So if you really, I recommend doing afflictions unless you really want control over it because it'll have it literally has a
what is
Octorius defensive divine shields around protecting their intent.
Octorius Magister, yeah. What's that fate mechanic for the GM invoking things? My mind is blanking.
I don't know the term super well.
Yeah, that's what I can't remember. But it works sort of like that. Like,
yeah.
So
I think I'm gonna.
Do we need to have any bonds if we're like, nah, let's just make my life awful and put them all as afflictions?
I mean, it doesn't
say you can't do
overwhelm
that.
Zen with the amount of things he has to invoke. It's fine.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you can totally do that.
Okay, I just word vomited some bonds and afflictions, and I don't know which ones are which.
Yeah,
So
let's.
so I have to finish the story. I feel like it could go either way.
Yeah, it could.
Let's come back to that.
So here's
I
the
think
thing.
affliction.
Let me define it this way. Bonds are things that you must work at. You spend energy on them. When you turn your back on your bonds, you're damaged and lost. Afflictions conversely just happen. They're out of your hands. Sometimes they're good, sometimes they're bad, but they're that portion of your destiny and purpose and nature that binds you whether you're in tune with yourself or not. So if it just happens, if it just has to happen and be damned to everything else, you're going to finish the story. It's an affliction. If
Okay,
it's
I'll make
something
that
you
up.
put energy into, it's a bond.
I'm gonna make it a bond because I for sure know I have one or two afflictions on here at least.
Okay.
My next one, I have a vivid imagination, bond.
Mhm.
I make better friends than I can find, bond. I am quick to anger, affliction.
Mhm.
I prefer other worlds to my own, affliction.
Okay.
And if I see injustice, I must act, affliction.
Okay.
Yep.
I've
I'll be
shortened
tagging
mine.
that one a lot.
Yep. The quick to anger and I must fight injustice. This is gonna be very
Yeah.
bad.
I've got mine. I said I can make friends with anyone. I'm gonna make that an affliction. I can't remember my past, bond. I won't let myself feel sad, bond. My body is still fully mortal. I can't affect it. That one I just mentioned, affliction. Um, I always do whatever first comes into my head, bond. I'm frequently forgotten a short time after I leave, affliction. I am omnipotent within a dream world, affliction.
I think I've got some. Affliction, I startle dramatically at 3. Affliction, I always follow the law at 5. Affliction, I'm always early at 3. And
I love
bond,
this plan of just afflictions.
bond, I crave structure and consistency at 2.
Okay, good.
Yes,
You
I
have at
know
least one
I always
bond.
follow the law is going to be fun, given we
I
saw
just,
the angel.
yep. I wanted to mention one thing. By not having bonds, it makes it harder to heal yourself because you heal yourself by feeding your bonds.
Okay, that's something to consider, and I'll take a look at these again.
Yeah, I must come when summoned for a job if my price has been paid. That's an affliction. I am only noticed when I desire to be in a bond. Mirrors in the harsh light at that one. Death can't stop me from getting to work. Sleep cannot reach my weary soul as an affliction.
I just spent a character
Um,
point on that.
I just can't sleep.
Yeah, I
Half
like
full
the
work.
wording on that.
You can
Yeah.
sleep when you're dead, but
You're
you're
always
immortal. So
overtired.
Yeah, it implies that you are always running on, like, the last eighth of a tank.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I always complete tasks to the best of my ability. Bond.
Don't you have a passion or skill for being perfectly caffeinated as well?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's how he was able to function despite that.
Yeah, it's a lot of overlapping mesh of the most tired person in the universe.
and then we assign the ratings to these, right?
Yep. Take 13 points and distribute as necessary 1 to 5.
I've
Okay, and
made
then add plus our treasure. So mine would be 15 points.
You would be 15 points.
Right.
Correct.
Excellent. All right, I did that right.
Oh, pressure treasure. In which case, thank you.
Yes, thanks for the reminder.
I wrote it at the bottom of the page.
What's the
Bonds
bonus?
and afflictions.
What's the benefit of increasing your bond level? Because affliction increases the defensive shield level. I think.
So bonds, you get an MP bonus. If your bond gets you into trouble, someone twists or breaks the bond, or you do something cool that the bond drove you to, you can get bonus MP.
Perfect. I always do it if it first comes into my head. It's so easy to abuse.
And it also feeds strike.
What's the MP bonus for afflictions?
For afflictions, you can gain MP from afflictions, as with bonds. For example, if you're trying to fit into a sleepy southern community, but you have the affliction, my shape changes to reflect my deeds. One night you go and win a fight with an excrucian. You come back home radiant with glory and dripping with the ichor of the beyond. Suddenly fit into the sleeping town becomes more difficult. Once it becomes clear that this is actually a problem for you, the HG awards you a suitable number of MP. So when it fucks you, you get points.
And what does extra points on afflictions do?
The defensive shield is easier, is stronger, so it's going to be harder for other things to oppose it. That's why I put level 4 into I'm omnipotent within a dream world.
I swapped
the numbers are going to reflect that, yeah.
So if I put 6 in the one that summons me, it means that it's harder for people to stop me from being summoned out of a scenario.
If someone has trapped you in a magical prison in a pocket dimension, and then you get summoned, they're going to have to oppose a huge thing in order to keep you there.
Good, that's what I want. I want to always be available for medial labor.
Basically, any action you use that is powered by an affliction has an auctoritas, a shield around it that basically gives you a base level miracle that people have to surmount in order to oppose that affliction.
So for my buffs, I put I can make friends with anyone as level 3 affliction. I always do whatever comes into my head as level 3 bond. I'm frequently forgotten a short time after I leave as level 2 affliction, and omnipotent with a dream world level 4 affliction. So 15 points total spent, 13 plus the 2 from treasure.
I thought it started at 15.
Sorry.
13.
Plus your treasure.
13 plus treasure.
13 plus treasure. So that's 14. Cool.
Okay. These next 2 steps we might need to do in between, but we need to go over them. This might take everybody a minute.
Yeah, we want
to. Let's take a break and we'll go over the domain and persona difficulty charts that you need to create for yourselves.
It's time for spreadsheets. The closest thing to it in this game, at least. Yep.
Oh, we're gonna have words about this game.
I put episode 2 in the title, but
this is still tutorial 1B.
We're still on 0B.
I think this is the end, isn't it? How much left is there after this?
After that, it's your health levels. I'll tell you what those are like, and then we're done.
Okay, so yeah, that's the last thing. It's
okay.
The last question in the exam is the hardest one, but then you're good.
Yes, it's an essay question.
Oh boy.
God, and my character we keep having to make weird sentences up, just keeps getting, I don't know what to do anymore, so they're just getting sadder. I just keep making him sadder.
Yep, and then we'll see what it's like in play, and you'll go, oh, okay, now I'm going to go change all of these numbers.
That's fine. Okay, anyways, we'll be back in a few minutes. We are back with part 2 of episode 2 of Nobilis. I said episode 2. I'm going to probably rename this to be episode 0 part 2 or episode 0.5 or something.
0.5.
Yep. Because we're still in character creation. We're almost done. Let's do this.
Almost, I guess.
This is with us speed running the narrative portions of character creation, too.
Yeah. Yes, it was.
No, we had homework, but we didn't know we had homework.
We might need a camera on, though, if we're back.
What?
OBS says it's fine.
Oh, never mind. Then I'm just missing a camera and I don't know why.
Oh, okay.
All right. What am I looking for? we're doing difficulty charts because we have to pre-write examples for our domain in all 4 stat categories, I believe, of what things that we can do. Is it all 4?
Just domain and persona. No, just two.
Domain and persona.
2 of 4.
Okay.
Because these are the ones that are highly dependent on what your estate is. The other 2 are your physical self and the crap you're carrying around.
Fair.
But these are very much your estates. So, when you create your power and decide on their estate, you should also sketch out what you think you can do at the various levels of domain. For example, you're creating the power of forbidden love. You decide that your estate is an estate of experiences, not the set of forbidden lovers or the set of people in forbidden love, not the abstract category of things that are love but also forbidden, but the beingness of it, the yearning, the self-loathing, what its likeness of finding oneself in forbidden love. So you write down a few things you can do at each level with yearning, shame, and forbidden love itself, and it gives you an example of what that might look like. Easiest way to do this is to look at page. We're starting with domain. If you look at the difficulty chart for domain starting on page 188, and see what those different difficulties do, create an example of what it might look like when you invoke that level of miracle with your estate.
So for 0, just for see if I'm on the right track, I have knowing how meaningful any given task is.
Yes.
Does that feel like a 0?
Yeah, it's difficulty 0 to know reflexively when something puts your estate in danger. That doesn't mean that some tiny physical part of your estate is in danger. The power of cars doesn't wake up screaming every time some car somewhere is getting junked, but rather something is threatening a larger part of your estate or its whole existence. So basically you have an awareness of the whole of your estate and when it might be threatened.
So do you actually really need to write something for
For 0, I mean,
0 is usually pretty quiet. I have, for example, I have seeing someone's dreams as a potential level 0, but that might be higher a bit. But yeah.
With 0 for dreams, I'd go for something like portents of doom. Like when you're dreaming, you get a feeling that might drive you towards what danger is being presented to your estate.
Oh, I was about to ask where are we writing these down, but I just found them. So.
Yep, there are 2 things I've written out for you.
Thank you.
So difficulty 1 is called a ghost miracle. It lets you summon up very small thematic instances of your estate, mostly for effect. This is the prestidigitation of your estate. They have physical substance, but they don't have a dharma, meaning they can't really affect the world. That means that they lack the will to change the world or even to firmly exist within it. In short, unless you use them to accomplish things you could have done anyway, the effects of these miracles tend to dampen themselves out and fade away.
Oh, I have make the time clock roll back 5 minutes.
Make someone drowsy is mine.
I'm still on my 0.
This is not going to go quickly.
So with 0, don't worry about 0. 0 is your danger sense.
Okay.
It means that you'll be because it's 0 and you don't really invoke a 0, you're just always at it. You reflexively know when something is threatening your estate.
Okay, I'll put quote unquote danger sense for it then.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Okay.
I feel like my 1 might just be like the equivalent of summoning like Garfield to like distract someone, right? Like just like not very like threatening or imposing things, just like, hey, there's a cat here who likes lasagna.
That even might be a bit high.
Yeah, that is.
Okay.
So the example is if you eat a meal called up with this miracle, you'll be hungry again half an hour later. Like, it has no lasting effect at all.
So this would be like, I could see, probably Persona actually is what this one would be tweaking someone's behavior so that it fall into a story trope more definitely.
So an interesting one for your difficulty 1 miracle would be the story a 5-year-old tells. Right? It's not interesting. There's no like drama in it at all. It's just very meandering and boring, and you just nod along with it. You know,
the classic. Have you ever dreamed when you dreamed so much you wanted to die, or whatever that kid said?
Would difficulty 1 kind of be the almost aura that I was trying to describe with the investiture of the trait of stuff changes around, but it's not really staying, it's not sticking, it's not really doing anything?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a very small thing with a very small effect.
Okay.
It does call out if you try to cripple someone with a ghost miracle, they'll probably just be stiff, irritated, and under the weather for an hour or 2.
You distract someone with a 5-year-old story for only so long.
Yeah. So, for example, meaningless work. You could make someone feel like they just worked an 8-hour shift for about a half hour, 45 minutes. Like that, just exhaustion and ugh.
That's a level 1, right?
That's a level 1. Yeah.
Yeah, for level 1, I have make the time clock roll back 5 minutes and keep the dirt behind the broom.
I'm going with...
You just keep sweeping.
Yeah. Mine's vague. Conjure a dream phantom. Like, the ghost miracle is a bit more literal for mine. Like, it's going to be a brief, a brief instance of an, like, item or, like, an object or a creature that's barely interacting, like more of a shadow. I'll call it a dream shadow.
Yeah, it's like when you see shadow people out of the corner of your eye, and you look and it's gone.
Yeah.
Or deja vu.
Variation on a theme.
I was gonna skip ahead to 9 just to kind of get the
fun.
To get the full breath here. Does this feel like a 9? Removing any impact from a career's worth of actions upon the world.
9 would be like, make everyone in the world always work menial labor forever. 9 is like big, I think.
Yeah, 9 is huge. Not 9.
They get exponentially kind of big.
Where is a career's worth of actions?
Like a single person's careers?
Yeah, like one person.
4?
Everything you've done is nothing.
4?
I think 4.
One person's whole life is meaningless.
If it's immortal. This is Nobilis. We've already seen that people's lives are not valuable in this game.
That's fair.
That's a 4.
I'm dartboarding here. I'm not sure. But like an ordinary mortal's career is probably not that big on the cosmic scale.
Now, how retroactive is this? If I set this at 9, does that make work
that
more
would mean
sacrosanct?
Probably their infinite progeny and ancestry would be also in that same curse or something like that.
I mean, like, if we're looking at the example for 9, right?
My question at this point is, because we set our own scales, that also means these 6 scales exist for everyone else trying to influence our estate.
Yes,
so
that's
if I
true.
set something at 9, that means that's the most it can be impacted.
Fair, but level 9 is still, it's called greater motion, just to get it out there. Difficulty 9 miracles allow you to perform large scale miracles of movement and dharma. You could make the Great Fire of Boston into the Great Fire of London. Transplant rabbits from their peaceful undersea homes to the world of land, or even decide that some guy named Lee Harvey Oswald who falls under your estate will kill the American president one day.
Yep.
This feels like a 9. I still feel like removing any impact from a career's worth of actions as a 9. That's a lot of butterflies that are gone.
Mm-hmm.
Depends on the person, but okay.
Yeah, I can see that being the upper bound of your estate, like, but Is it just one person, or is it a city's worth of people that you do this to?
Because the
So
city's
it's
worth
one
of people.
person. It's unfulfilling work.
What I mean is
the estate itself is unfulfilling in its inaction.
okay. So you don't think that you'd be able to affect multiple people at a time, really, at the limit
No.
of your power?
You just have to keep. I don't sleep. I don't stop, and I go anywhere. But it's one thing at a time. A series of single tasks, one after another.
Well, don't define that yet. We've looked at it. Let's go up the scale so you can see where that might slot in later.
Yeah, it's just very hard.
It is. It is.
What are these A and Bs that you have thrown as curveballs on this plan?
Because there are two different types of difficulty too. So for difficulty,
you guys are seeing.
Yeah, go. If you look at where your character sheet is, underneath there's a domain miracle difficulty chart and then persona miracle.
Oh, okay. I see what you mean. Yes, I saw the A's and B's. I've been writing down my ideas on my own Google Doc before I put them in Roll20.
Domain difficulty miracle. Mine ends with destiny.
No.
Yeah,
there
we go. They're another different handouts.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so difficulty 2 has two different types. There is a lesser divination. Difficulty 2 domain miracles tell you basic mundane information about your estate. For instance, the power of the sun can use a level 2 miracle to predict the exact moment of sunrise, or the path sunlight will take across the balcony. They also know immediately if someone replaces the sun with an exact copy or even a subtly evil clone.
That's such a devious
I
plan.
almost threw our orb into the sun.
We could have killed Mars. I don't understand.
So this one is knowing someone's dream from looking at them. It seems to me pretty clearly.
Yeah.
Would this one for me be like which trope they fit into the most, or like?
Knowing which story is going to resonate with an individual might.
Yeah, knowing which story to tell could just be, you could leave it at to tell and leave it vague.
Yeah.
Okay. Which story to tell? I will also be right back. This is where
my knowing how meaningful any given task would be.
Yes. Yep.
Cool. I can look at someone doing something and like, that's not going to do anything, but to an exact number.
Mm-hmm.
Knowing what change it would be easiest to make?
Knowing what form the change will take. I think, like knowing the consequence of the change.
Okay,
I need to take it. I should have taken an allergy pill during our break.
All right. Second part of difficulty 2 is conversation. This level of miracle also opens a channel of communication to the things of your estate, allowing you to talk to them with mundane actions and persuade them to do little subtly miraculous things. You can get your car to adjust itself a little in its parking space, or ask someone's gun to misfire, or convince a river to flow a little faster or slower. As long as you're the power of cars, guns, rivers, or something similar. Here, subtle is code for things they might have done anyway, and your persuasiveness is determined by the mundane action you use to talk.
I love
you
the
can also
side
use...
note on anyway. Though cars like shuffling around in their parking spaces and things like that.
Mm-hmm. You can also use conversation miracles to ask things of your estate for mundane information and listen to the answers. This is usually less precise than just using a lesser divination, but you can sustain the conversation to get additional information, and using a conversation miracle gives your estate the chance to tell you if you're asking the wrong questions.
AKA the GM.
The power of cars, guns, and rivers are all very concrete things. What on earth?
I should have went the power of guns.
Well, you could probably ask talk the power of change into change someone how they're already inclined towards changing. So this could be, you could talk the power of change into accelerating or slowing down an existing change. Might probably be something that would be easy for it.
So for change, if you look at it as a cascade, like if you used lesser divination and then conversation, you could find the path of the change and slightly nudge it.
Would mine be like tell a good story? Is that conversation?
With conversation, so you're subtly manipulating things, so you could tell a story to change. So, for example, if you wanted to use a story to influence someone, you could slightly, subtly change the story so that it fits them better than it would have otherwise.
Here's one I'm not sure. Can I speak? This might be 2, it might be higher. Speak to dreamers, but they'll never know it was you. Like in small, subtle ways, or could it just be specifically dreams?
Would probably be like more imagery and subtle manipulation of dreams than actually like talking to them.
Okay.
How about apply a layer of bureaucracy to a job?
I think that
with
works.
Conversation. Yeah, I mean, that's a subtle manipulation of your estate.
Just like lay my hand upon a workplace and they have another form.
Oh, there's been a new update in the process, and there's another step. I'm sorry, it's going to take another 3 months.
Yeah, when you invoke the Conversation miracle, another binder of procedure guides shows up.
Yeah. They tell you it's been updated. They don't tell you where, so you have to read through the whole thing again.
It doesn't tell you what's been updated.
Yeah, there's no patch notes.
Patch notes should be ubiquitous throughout life.
I'm not doing patch notes I did patch notes for the previous few versions of Chasing Adventure, but this one is too much of an overhaul. It's basically everything in all caps would be it.
I want patch notes when a new president is elected. They're like, this is how it's different now.
That would make me sadder.
So minorly alter the course of a chain?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, just a course correction, you know.
Okay.
Or yeah, you could even bring them to it could be the same ultimate end, but you make them experience the experience they have to go through is a little different.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so difficulty 3, lesser preservation. Difficulty 3 domain miracles or lesser preservations let you protect, strengthen, and provide magical fuel for the instances of your estate. Stuff lasts longer, becomes more potent, and it's harder to get rid of when these miracles are in play. Basically, this is going to be a more reactive thing. You don't necessarily have to define this because
this is buffing what already is there.
Yeah.
So the only specific one I could think of for me was keep someone in a dream. Everything else though, like make a dream have a stronger impact on someone, is just making it like it's general buffing.
Mm-hmm.
So just leave it blank or just call it general buff?
Whatever helps you recognize what that means. Like define however you wish, but know that a level 3 miracle buffs.
It preserves stories. So this could be as specific as like stopping book burning, or like preventing.
Or the story becomes a tradition that's told through generations.
Yeah,
you know,
preventing Twitch from deleting VODs after 1 week, or a specific VOD after 1 week.
I have eliminate burnout.
Mm-hmm.
As a very subtle,
because you want people to keep doing that menial labor. Yeah.
You find the strength to keep going, even though you should really quit.
Yeah, and for change, it could be influx longer. Like the end result isn't here yet.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Like I've got a mutable, and I'm like, that's the opposite of what I need. What is this word?
Yeah.
Influx.
All right.
Things get more variable.
Yep. Difficulty 4, lesser creation, summoning, or animation. Difficulty 4, domain miracles, create, summon, and animate. You can conjure things of your estate out of thin air. You can call mobile elements of your estate to you, and you can imbue part of your estate with an animating power. I have a feeling one of us is looking at this going, I know what level miracles I'm tossing out every time something bad happens. Yeah.
That's me. Listen, sometimes you just need Garfield.
Because this is lesser, could I have temporary position? I summon forth a job.
I mean, yes. Yeah, that would work.
I need this door opened. I summoned forth a job that someone must now go open my door. Thank you.
A LinkedIn job posting post that says door opener.
Yeah, and they got to do it for a month. Just standing there.
Okay.
Yeah, so difficulty 4 is going to be your standard, I inflict my estate upon the world.
Yep.
Specifically writing, quote, this is my shit, summon things. That's it.
God, I'm gonna get so many copies made.
I'm thinking of changing it into something that has will of its own. A matter of, okay, this rock is now, an animal or some such.
I have, correct me if I'm wrong, Zen, but I think all of these count. Conjure dreams into reality, send a specific dream to someone, trap someone in a dream world, cause someone to fall asleep in dream is very similar, but I wrote it too. Enter someone's dream.
Are you just 13 or 7-year-old Freddy Krueger? Is that what you are?
No, I'm 7-year-old Peter Pan. They're related.
I think those fit, yeah. The only one I'm not sure of is entering, but I'm not.
I saw
seeing
that
another
as their
difficulty level
dream
would
comes to
work.
me under the you're getting your estate to come to you is how I get a dream to come to me, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And yeah, for change, this is where you can practice alchemy.
Yeah.
There we go. Never mind. Let's just start with that. Alchemy.
Yep. Full on FMA style.
Yep. Lead is suddenly gold.
Yep.
How long it will remain gold, we will see.
In this case, it isn't a ghost miracle, so probably
Yeah.
until
Once again,
you say
I am.
otherwise.
I mean,
Once
it's
again,
not
I
a
am.
Until you
miracle,
stop.
but also
Yeah.
it is a matter of change, and if change is sticking around, how long it wants to stay gold is
That's true.
Because change inherently would say it wants to be gold, and then silver, and then lead, and then...
Yeah.
You have the ability to inflict ADHD on people. Difficulty 4.
In the lead example, you have ADHD in relation to the periodic table.
I mean, you could actually do inflict indecision as a literal thing.
Oh my god, it's suddenly plutonium. Everyone run.
Yep. But yeah, change a person in... Change it, like a normal mortal you could change in a fundamental way. A more divine being, I'm guessing, because this is still lesser, this would be a more minor way.
I mean, the miraculous being, it wouldn't necessarily scale with power level because the miraculous being has inherent defenses against it.
Okay.
So I could straight up just go with change a person blank. We'll figure out what that actually is.
Yeah, change a noun.
You change a person into a rock, you give the rock sentience. Now the rock screams, but on the inside.
Of course. Yeah. That's
I have
fine.
no mouth, but my rock must scream.
And then they change into something else right after.
All right, difficulty 5. This is another twofer. So we've got lesser destruction. Difficulty 5, domain miracles. Erase some physical manifestation of your estate in whole or in part. The power of fire can erase a whole fire, or it's just its heat, or its color, or its visibility. The power of life can kill. The power of storms can wipe clouds from the sky.
So, conversely, I could render work meaningful.
Yes, you can destroy meaningless work. You can destroy the meaningless part or the work part. You can make someone have
Yes.
meaningless non-labor,
It's a meaningless,
meaningless comfort.
Oh dear. My video games.
Yeah, they'll never be satisfied with whatever games they play.
So yeah, I have render meaningful and
For
remove
change
effort.
here, you suddenly make things stable. They will never change.
Oh dear.
Mhm.
I actually like that one too much. Oh
How
dear.
does story work here? Like I destroy a story?
Yeah, make a story
Yes.
forgotten forever would be like destroying a story, because the story isn't just the written text.
Yeah.
Now, I'm going to potentially give you a huge leg up with story.
Mm.
People's lives can be stories. And if you take away the story of someone's life, you're basically taking away their lived experiences.
Yeah, all of
So
the ups and downs and journey of their life has kind of been like,
Zero
even if
out
they're
skill
technically
points.
still alive,
No,
they're
0
basically
out
an
skill
NPC.
Points.
no, they
You have
they
no
no
skills.
longer have a character arc. They are just flat characters.
Yeah,
they
they're
have
an
they don't do
NPC
anything.
basically.
Render non-player.
Yeah, makes it. Yeah,
Yeah, it's that save game at level 1 that you never pick back up. It's your main character there, just existing.
No, it's the character creator on Skyrim. That is where you stopped playing.
And you just keep going, never improving.
Hell on earth. All right. Second part of difficulty 5 is greater divination. These miracles allow you to use your estate as a spy, asking the state as a whole what it or its components have seen or learned about. This is probably visiting other people's dreams, like seeing everything that they're dreaming of. You may also glean a limited insight into the future from your estate, as when the power of wine sees the future in a wine glass.
perfect. So, specific dreams of the future.
Yeah, prophetic visions, prophetic dreams.
Yeah.
I guess this is for me. Like you see someone's character arc.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you can literally see their whole life written out behind it in front of them. Like,
How is this different from like 2A, which is I guess,
lesser divination?
Yeah.
So lesser divination, you're going to get a much more limited scope of information from.
Yep.
Okay. So lesser divination, but more.
So for using the sun example that they use in lesser divination, with lesser divination, you'd see the path of the sunlight across the balcony. With greater divination, you'd see everything the light touches.
Oh,
Yes. So,
Okay.
I have know the
Oh.
maxim of an action. Does that work? I know the final result of any given action. But
Yeah, of
specific
menial
action.
labor. Yeah.
Yeah, of a specific action.
so mine, I think, are obviously visiting other people's dreams. I think we mentioned just anyone's dreams basically would be greater divination, or I guess seeing, not visiting, seeing anyone's dreams. Have prophetic dreams. Learn about a dreamer's fundamental motivations. I think would also be like very deep into one person. And the very wide version would be know what dreams are happening. What knowing all dreams basically, or knowing what of all dreams are happening at this time.
Mm-hmm.
For mine, I did seeing the butterfly effects of a change.
It'd be what? Seeing
The butterfly effects. So one change happens, which makes this tornado happen, which makes this happen. What is the exponential butterfly effects of what?
so you can see the perfect effects of all change.
Yeah, that is perfect.
Mm-hmm. Could you also see what change is currently happening? like, could you understand everything currently changing?
Understand change in progress?
Yep.
We're still on greater divination, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I was waiting until you
as
got
we
back.
get higher up, they're probably going to get longer as there's more and more things.
Yep. So difficulty 6, lesser motion. Difficulty 6 domain miracles are miracles of movement and dharma. You change the location, the context, and the destiny or purpose of the things of your estate. This calls out directly. You can move a dream from one person's mind into another person's mind.
Yep.
Or farm jellyfish on land, or assign a new destiny, fate, or purpose to a person who falls under your estate. This is where you change the course of a person's life if you're change.
I just have reassign team. Like,
transfer.
Yeah.
Forced transfer.
Yeah. Forced.
I put change someone's story.
Yeah, this is where you could turn a hero into a villain or vice versa.
Yep.
Oh yeah, like change archetype. That was the word I was looking for, archetype.
Yeah, archetype's different.
Along with difficulty 6, we also have greater preservation. This is where you can change things forever, or sorry, you can preserve things forever. This is the big buff. You can make change constant. You can make menial labor endless.
It's not make menial labor in. My concept is the same as the gas pumpers in New Jersey. We're rendering positions. We're codifying positions into law. We are mandating that specific tasks always happen, regardless of necessity.
That's fair. For anybody that doesn't know, in New Jersey, you cannot pump your own gas. It is a law that an attendant must pump your gas.
I think that used to be the case in like Washington or Oregon too, until very
but this
recently.
Makes it eternal. This job always happens. Why? Because it happens.
This is how it's just
with
done.
my power of creating jobs, I could make something always happen by an endless stream of underpaid labor that the universe maintains.
For mine, could a greater preservation be like make a story a legend?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I like that.
I'm still
Yeah, there's plenty of small stories we've all forgotten, but everybody knows who Hercules is.
Yeah.
You know, Hercules is protected by a greater preservation.
Got it. I'll put that as an example.
I'm still stuck on 6A. 6B, greater preservation, alright, change constant. But 6A is move.
Like, what this is...
Preserving, protecting, or strengthening, so we can... Or for...
Well, for lesser motion, for what Marissa's stuck on, this could be taking the change from one thing and putting it onto another.
Ah.
Yep.
Got it. Hey, now I've... Thank you.
What came to my mind
instead of the bird molting, that human over there is going to lose all their hair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're going to lose all their feathers, which can't happen, and grow new ones, which will be surprising.
Like how a tadpole turns into a frog. That just happens to a dude now.
That rock has moved from the top of the hill to the bottom of the hill. So has that person now.
Yeah.
I feel like you don't need god power to do that to a person.
You just use your god powers to make someone fall down a hill.
Yeah, but it's much more fun when you poke it off a mountain of rock.
They weren't on a hill, but they fell down it.
I could also see this being something weird, like, well, we know that window over there is going to break. That's a change to that window. Now I'm going to do that to Bob instead of the window.
Yep. No, it's there's lots of weird things you could do. Climate change. The Earth is getting warmer. Let's apply that to the sun instead.
That's
Which-
worse.
Which makes the Earth get warmer. And same end result.
Yeah,
But
I know.
yeah, it just happens differently.
What really happens is there's a lot more doves on people's shoulders protecting that specific one.
I got it. Climate change, the Earth gets warmer, my soup is cold. We're applying Earth change.
Yeah,
to
it doesn't
soup.
have to be the same scale.
It raises an average of 3 degrees, and soup's good, Earth's fine.
Yeah.
All right. So difficulty 7. Greater creation,
my
summoning, or
shit.
animation. Yeah, this is you can weave stone into a fortress, create whole cities out of air, and drown whole continents in the substance of your estate. This is biblical.
Mhm.
Could I, like, literally summon Jesus if I wanted to with this?
I want to summon a franchise.
This is summoning summoning the cataclysm in a story into the real world.
Yeah. Like zombie apocalypse? You got a zombie apocalypse. Yeah.
Create industry? But that feels too big.
I mean, we're getting big.
Yeah, this is meant for
Go
that.
big or
Create
go home.
industry too big.
You
create an
create
industry of menial labor. Yeah, that's suddenly a new form of janitorial service shows up that's fucking mandatory.
Yeah.
I just want to make it doesn't. The goal isn't to make people do it. It's to make the need exist now in the universe under the concept that people have to like meaningful labor. Like the meaningless labor, like is just a thing that always needs to exist for everyone to work, and that in itself is meaning. But that's
It's like
around,
janitorial
sir. It's a
bots
flat
that aren't
circle
never
where
broken,
the-
but always require or always say they require maintenance, even though they never break. That's
I was thinking more that like I summon a product whole cloth that requires more labor for it to exist.
yeah. Though does it make current things require more work to maintain than they did before?
Something that like a leaf industry. Now each leaf needs to be made.
And painted. Yeah, and put on the...
There's no leaves unless the leaf industry turns, and the leaf workers gotta be there.
Make something require, more artificial labor. Yeah.
Like I
Or just more
artificially
labor.
inject labor into something that didn't previously have labor.
Or summoning people to do a great work of meaningless labor, such as digging a trench around the world.
Ooh, a trench! I love trenches!
Yep.
Would greater creation summoning also be like summoning Hercules, or is that still?
Oh,
I think that would be this.
You're there. Yeah, that would be this.
Okay.
This is the heroes of old.
Yep.
Affect change over a landscape, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so wide scale.
2 words: utter chaos.
You go, oh, that river is eventually going to change the way it runs. Let's just make that happen now.
And it's carrots now. It's made of carrots.
Made of carrots.
It's flowing carrots.
It's not water, it's hydrogen peroxide.
Yeah, who needs liquids? Let's make it.
It's solids.
I think Marissa's character is responsible for the creation of our chasing adventure world.
I have
right.
pull everyone into a dream, manifest an apocalyptic nightmare, and inspire the world with a shared dream.
Oh dear.
Sweet. That's going to be a great cult.
It won't be a cult if it's everyone. It's fine.
That's true. I mean,
It'll be a world religion. The only world religion.
Can it be Pinkmas? Anyhow,
Just pondering the concept of making people build leaves It feels like just why is that an option anyone needs? No one needs this power.
I don't know. It might be pretty sad without leaves. So
difficulty 8, and these become undefinable, I think, for difficulty 8. Greater Destruction is a similar unlimited potency of difficulty 7, except you're taking it away. You're
This
making...
is where I think the removing the impact from a career's worth of actions is just one touch and everything you've done is nothing.
Again, what's kind of the difference between the Greater Destruction and Lesser Destruction?
Lesser Destruction is just Bill Murray in Groundhog Day. Greater Destruction is the entire world.
Yeah, to me, it's just a matter of scale.
Yeah. So,
oh dear.
My idea for Greater Destruction is like remove an archetype from existence. Like the hero's journey, that doesn't exist anymore. That type of story is gone, and everything associated with it.
So basically,
I just removed Joseph Campbell. It's gone.
Yeah, I think fundamentally, permanently stabilizing some things.
Some of these miracles not hurting, like bonds, afflictions, and whatnot. Like, it feels like the destruction would be harming your estate in most cases.
Well, you still have power over the concept. Even destruction isn't you destroy your entire estate. It's usually you destroy a specific part of it because you have power over it.
Yeah, basically, the concept still exists. It's just that facet, that thing that you're focused on goes away.
Yeah.
Hi. Can I also have remove a genre? So, like, goodbye, sci-fi. No more sci-fi.
I think that works, yeah. Poor sci-fi.
Can we start with romance novels?
Okay, fine.
Listen, if
no
I
more slash fiction, denied.
If I get rid of that, that means there's no Twilight, right? Which means technically there's no 9/11.
There's also no Chuck Tingle, and that's much more important.
You could ask Marissa if getting rid of Twilight will get rid of 9/11, because she'll know. You just.
Oh my god, our powers are OP together.
I mean, Marissa's powers is kind of OP with any other power.
Yeah, but I think the Avatar and gun might take us all down. So
yeah, we're all very much.
We're all fine until we beat the Avatar of bullets.
Physical defenses? What are those?
It's fine. We're fine.
I would just remove the story of Enter the Gungeon, and then there's no guns.
By summon, I mean hire.
That gun is now a piece of spaghetti. I don't know what you're worried about.
Yeah, that's a water gun. What are you talking about?
So, difficulty 9, greater motion becomes situational and therefore not as definable because you're allowed at this level to circumvent the usual properties of your estate and treat it more as a metaphor or a generalized word. So you're at difficulty 9, the shackles come off, and any meaning you can put into the word of your estate is fair game.
So the dream of your life is now a nightmare, and then they die.
I was going to say move dreams to the waking instead of the sleeping.
Yes, yes.
Does that mean I can suddenly start dealing with small coins?
Yes. Yes, it does.
Yep.
Actually.
You can start dealing with the monetary system. Oh no.
All right. Where do I spend question before I commit to the concept of getting another estate with the bonus points? Do I have to do this again?
Yes.
We do.
I am reconsidering my options.
So, for my greater motion, I could just like make someone be the archetype, right? Like the specific, like.
Yeah. It also says you can do something that violates the normal properties of how your estate works. So this is like fundamentally change your own estate.
Yes. You could start screwing with the level of the floor of a building as the second story of the building.
Or as the British call it, the first story.
Can I eat other people's estates?
What?
If I
That
was
you-
to find someone else with an estate,
Another
could
power.
I eat them for their estate?
No,
and
this
would-
isn't. You don't gain their power by eating their heart. No.
Can I eat their estate? Can I remove the
That's-
meaning from the work of maintaining their estate, which is the estate?
You could use that to weaken someone else's estate. Yes.
Okay.
That's what other people are going to be doing to you.
It's really hard when my estate sucks.
Well,
You want
I mean,
some of it, go for
if
it.
someone wants people's lives to be meaningful, that is in direct opposition to what you're doing. So,
I want their lives to be meaningful, just not their work life.
well, if someone wants everyone to be productive and happy,
I want a square.
Get them to not have a job anymore, be productive and happy.
I've written
Because
down
that's
enable
it.
shared telepathy through shared dreaming.
Oh sheesh.
Make
Can I
it
also do like? Oh no, you go first.
making it so no one ever wakes up in the same place they go to sleep in.
Wait, can mine also just be genre switching? Like I can make someone go from like medieval fantasy to like now you're in grimdark horror. Good luck.
yes.
You just turn every fight into like a slice of life novel. Just like every fight becomes a text. Like you're in combat and then you do the thing and now you're texting the person.
You could also inflict a certain story on an individual. So, if you wanted, I don't know, if you wanted someone to go through the story of Mary Shelley's Frankenstein and live the life of the monster, you could do that.
You could probably turn an area into a story, setting and all.
Oh my god! I just make WandaVision.
And
yeah,
basically
basically WandaVision. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was probably a level 7 or 9 miracle.
Yeah, affecting the whole town. Level 9, definitely. Okay. If everyone has that portion ironed out, we can move on to the persona. Persona.
You gotta do it again.
I am still actually checking my lesser destruction. I think... Sorry, not lesser destruction. Greater destruction, level 8. So I think this would be... scour, like, an entire type of dream.
Or take dreams from a city.
Yeah.
An entire city's worth of people that just go unconscious and nothing.
A city of mist, if you will.
Yeah. Remove or destroy the dreams of an entire city.
You could finally get rid of that one dream that everyone has where they're naked in front of the classroom.
I already have that. Scour an entire type of dream from the earth. That was my first one.
There you go.
So the other one I have is... So in regular lesser destruction, I added, because this is also a story type trope, consume a dream for sustenance and healing, because dream eating creatures are a thing. And if that works for lesser, I'm wondering what a greater... Would it just be like a greater version of that? It would be like change myself by consuming, like empower myself somehow through consuming.
Yeah, you could make that sort of similar to shape-shifting. Like,
yeah.
You could assume
consume the dreams of the masses to empower and change myself. I'll leave it at that.
You could become a night terror.
That would be probably greater creation because that's still not destroying dreams.
Oh no, so I mean like a sleep paralysis demon. I got them mixed up.
Oh, there's also sleepwalking. That won't be in destruction, but I'll have to consider that.
Yep.
That'll be in animation. Control the bodies of the dreaming.
Make the walkers come to you.
Yep.
So as we kind of think of different things we can do, can we just add it to the chart? And
oh yeah,
yeah. This is for your benefit, so you understand the scope of your miracles.
Okay.
Control the body of someone dreaming to lesser, and control the bodies of the dreaming masses in greater. I'm good now.
Okay. So, persona miracles. At difficulty 0, we have the sight. It's reflexive difficulty 0 persona miracle to invoke the sight. The mundane forms of the world blur and fade, blah, blah, blah. You recognize the powers of estates with strong connections to your own and their agents. You can identify with a single glance an excrucian who is actively attacking your estate. If you're the power of birds, you can know whether an animal preys on birds or whether a person loves birds or hates birds or has been flocked to a bird at some point in time.
So it's see worker profile work. Like I can see what their job is.
Yeah, you basically you know their resume.
Yeah.
You just see a floating version of their resume.
Yeah.
This feels a bit like what I wrote for my level 2 lesser definition, which is know someone's dream by looking at them. Is that right?
Yeah, there's probably overlap.
Okay.
I mean, it could be see what they're dreaming of. Not see what they're dreaming of.
Glimpse their dream.
I was thinking the Naruto context of a dream where it's in one sentence and you know that sentence about them.
Oh, okay, that works.
Like you know they're like what they strive for in the context of a dream.
Yeah.
Like someone who dreams of being president, you know dreams of being president.
But I don't know any of the other details. Yeah. View a summary of someone's dream.
I've got to know how a thing is changing or what the next change will be.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a bit lost for mine.
Know how they view themselves within their personal story?
I'm just imagining hearing a narrator.
Where in their story are they? You just know what chapter they're on.
Yeah, sure, random like chapter titles.
Yeah, you know the number and chapter title.
Yes.
You know no context of beginning or end for the scale of the chapters.
Yep, like
it's like if they were to write their autobiography, this is the chapter and the title of the chapter that they are currently.
You're like going to at the gas station and buying like a Gatorade, and there's a pimple-faced teenager. It's like, here you go, and you're just like look above them, and the chapter title above their head is like apocalyptic like breakdown, and you're just like, are they okay?
Today's the day I died. Oh shit, I gotta get out of
here. Yeah. And it turns out it's like the name of the next video game that they're gonna play when they get home.
The 20 years I don't remember.
Yeah.
The dark times.
Okay. So that's the sight. Difficulty 1 is blessing or curse. You can use a difficulty 1 miracle to make small changes to the destiny, nature, or temperament of a thing, giving them just a dollop of the nature of your estate. Power of fire can make someone more fiery or give them a dangerous feel, or make sure that now and again in their life their plans will burn them.
I have make someone drowsy or daydreamy, inspire or terrify someone.
Mm-hmm.
I have reduced productivity.
Perfect.
I have makes
blessing.
Give someone a bad day. That would be a good curse.
I have make someone heroic for a task.
Again, it seems kind of like number 4 there. I'm thinking around inflicting indecision, but that's already on the domain.
There's going to be overlap. So these are meant so that like if you're high in domain and low in persona, you can still sort of do the same things, just at a different angle.
So it's some of the stuff we wrote in for higher level domain will be easier for lower level persona, and vice versa. That also means we can choose which one we want to use at certain times.
Mm-hmm. Oh, look,
I
the
gotta
power
write
of
a curse
industrial
and a
espionage.
blessing. We gotta write both.
Well, blessing or curse. I mean, just so you understand the scale. The power of industrial espionage can make someone more or less sinister or adventurous, and can probably attract money or misfortune to someone as well.
So you can also take it away a bit. Okay.
Oh, I can give people jobs. Provide employment.
So I can also, yeah.
It sucks, but
Is your curse firing them from their job?
no, the curse is reduced productivity, and the blessing is going to be provide employment.
Yeah, the blessing is bridge job. Like it's you're gonna do it for 3 months because you're between other jobs and you just need some money coming in.
I'm kind of trying to give myself as lame powers as possible.
Excellent.
Difficulty 2.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, for story?
Yeah.
Grammatical errors.
So
specific details about your life are now drastically wrong.
It says they can make small, real changes to hearts, minds, and lives, but generally 90% of their life is more or less the same.
Yeah, the only change is in like grammatical differences.
Or like what's the name for a word that can mean different things?
Onomatopoeia?
Yeah, the power of onomatopoeia.
I was gonna say
it's a
homophone?
Maybe.
Homonym. It's a synonym, but
synonym.
Yeah. Homonym. Yeah, no, you're right.
Okay.
Homonyms.
The power of semantics. I curse people with semantics.
But about the details of their lives.
Yeah, it's a small shift.
Yeah. Make someone write a biography, or make someone write a biography would be like.
So instead of naming the women, the wizard Merlin, he's actually named, Petey. It's a small change. The story's the same, but it's Petey now.
But yeah, you can do this. You can do this to anything. Like it says, you can imbue anything kind of with a portion of the power. So if you do this to a vending machine, then that vending machine will somehow fit into a story better or showcase a story better.
God,
it might just get more anthropomorphized because that's technically like there are stories are inherently, I think, for us anthropomorphic. Like even stories of objects tend to. So you put that into an object and it becomes in some ways seen as more like a person.
You imbue a vending machine with the power of the antagonist and it tries to crush you and kill you.
Or you provide it with the energy of the hero.
Yeah, and it only does that to bad people. It still crushes and kills people, but different people.
Different people.
But only those who try to rob it.
Yeah.
Like that kid sticking his arm up there trying to get the last candy bar.
Perfect. Okay.
All right. Difficulty 2, lesser incarnation. The powers, that love you, hate you, or just hang out with you sometimes, can be with you even when their body is not. They can incarnate in their estate. The power of wind can be whatever wind blows past. The power of landslides can live in any landslide. The power of hope moves in any heart that hopes.
So this is my enter anyone's dream. Like, this is level 2 persona.
Oh, this is my Merlin powers. Broom sweep, counters wipe.
Yeah.
The work gets done without the labor.
I don't think
and it's still meaningless.
So this does call out when your avatar incarnates in something, their consciousness goes off to live elsewhere in the world. This ignores the normal range for your miracles and lasts until A, something happens back at their body that snaps them out of it, B, a self-imposed time limit runs out, or C, a scene ends for the thing they're living in.
Okay.
So this is instantiating yourself inside of a form of your estate.
I incarnate a story?
I'm going with also speak to the dreams in someone's heart. Because I think that's the best way to incarnate someone in a metaphorical emotional dream.
So this would more for stories. I sort of want to say this can put you inside of it, inside the story.
Yeah. Inkart style, to spoil that a bit.
Yeah. This
I
is
didn't even hear what he said.
It's a book series where that is a thing.
That's the whole plot. That's
The whole
whole
plot
Got
is the intersection, the literal intersection between a story and the real life.
So you can just put one word in there, isekai.
Ah,
Yeah, isekai. You can isekai yourself
got it.
into any story.
Too bad I don't know how to spell isekai.
Isekai.
I-S?
Is.
Well,
Yeah.
you don't spell it izakaya. That's a restaurant.
That was what I was trying to correct it to. I got it.
Perfect.
I was trying to spell check my list, and I put in minorly affects the course of change. For some reason, my spell check doesn't think minorly is a word, so it tried to change it to majorly.
Majorly.
They're different. They're this is how you spell it, actually.
Okay, so it does call out if you're the power of dogs, you can go and live in any dog you want. And for the rest of your life, if that dog loves someone like most dogs do, that person will be important to you and you to them. So you live the experience that you're in.
Yeah, you're not just there as a visitor. You are the dog or the dream.
I just have
So-
cleaning. I just have.
So you're the
clean.
narrator, I
So-
guess, Jordan.
Well,
what you
no,
would
you
be.
become the main character.
Yeah, the
You
main
see the
character
story
of
through that vantage point.
Yep.
You live that.
Whatever point of view a book has is the point of view I am looking through.
Yeah, you experience it as if it happened to you.
Stay out of Atlas Shrugged.
Jesus. I don't want to be in Ayn Rand's head anymore.
Gross.
All right. Difficulty 3, lesser emulation.
You want more
mortals are
bonds and afflictions? This is how you get it.
Mortals are creatures of our little worlds. We can be cool inside our bubbles, but when the world breaks in, it can crush our coolness along with everything else we thought we knew. Ultimately, no matter how hard we try, no matter what's inside our hearts, a blood vessel can pop on our heads or a landslide fall on them, and our purpose will be lost. Blah blah blah. With this level difficulty, you can use your persona to apply one of your estate's properties to yourself as an affliction. Books can change lives, so can the power of books. Hope springs eternal, the power of hope can't therefore die. Treachery can be anywhere, ergo, so can its power. So all those old axioms like change is inevitable, you can be inevitable.
Yep.
You can be Thanos.
So
Oh, so for mine, I have stories are eternal as an estate property. An emulation would be I am eternal.
yep.
Oh,
So you switch your bonds and afflictions to a property.
You add on a new affliction, and it is So like dreams can evoke any memory and emotion is one of mine. I can just do that now. Any memory and emotion, I can just make you have.
Yeah.
But as a level 3 persona miracle. This is not adding it to the character sheet. This is just spending the points, right?
Yep. Yeah. When you invoke the miracle of lesser emulation, you can do this.
Then you have to sustain it, like we talked about sustain miracles. Yeah.
Yeah. It becomes a temporary affliction.
So this is we don't even have to make up examples for this. It's just
Temporary affliction or boon.
Yep.
Yeah. Affliction
So it's
or
basically a
boon.
matter of whatever you had your bond or affliction, you just now are that.
Well, this is specifically afflictions.
Okay.
It's
so it
not
makes
bond.
the properties of your state into temporary affliction.
This is good
right?
because we want it to be
Yes.
afflictions because we already get to choose when they're applying anyways. We basically have the benefits of both bond and affliction in this case.
Yeah, this allows you to invoke the properties as an affliction without me invoking an affliction on you.
We can only apply it on ourselves, right?
Yes.
So does that mean technically I could use lesser emulation to create heroes? Because I have stories to create heroes.
You can make
lesser
yourself
emulation
a
to
hero.
make yourself a hero.
Oh,
Yeah, you
Is
can
that-
only change yourself with this.
is that modified by the rating at all?
What do you mean?
The rating of the affliction or bond that you're grabbing
Of
it
the
from.
of the property. So my like stories create heroes is a rating 5. Would that affect the emulation at all?
Oh, I see. Your thing is stories create heroes. Then yes, you can just make
Yeah.
yourself create heroes.
The affliction has a typical base miracle level of the miracle you used,
and
an affliction rating equal to your persona.
so no, it doesn't.
So-
The original one
okay.
doesn't matter
Got it.
for this, at least.
I can make myself destroy structure.
Yep. But yes, if your thing
How-
is create heroes, you can then make yourself be able to create heroes. You wouldn't turn yourself into a hero.
I could.
You could, if you want to do it on yourself. You could also do it to the middle school children who show up here.
God.
All right, I definitely really like my estate properties.
Excellent.
Difficulty 4, lesser enchantment. These miracles add the dharma and or properties of your state, the way of being your estate has, to a thing. This is afflicting other people.
Mhm.
So difficulty 3 is yourself. Difficulty 4 is someone else.
Yep.
Okay, got it.
So I can apply can go horribly wrong to other people. It's fine.
You can make events into dreams or hopes if your estate is dreams or hopes. Calls that out.
So because I have breaks backs as a thing, a level 4 persona, I can just shatter someone's spine.
Yes.
Cool. So I would do story strengthened character. I could strengthen someone's character with lesser enchantment,
Mm-hmm.
or make them eternal. One of the two.
Change is terrifying. You are terrifying.
Yep.
Sure.
That's exactly how it works, and that's one of my favorite parts of Nobilis. In our previous game, someone we played with, Marissa, you'll know him as Matt, are buried deep underground for dinosaurs, and then applied that to an enemy once. It was very, very good.
Seems like this is the game of semantics.
Yes, it is.
It really is.
It is.
Yeah. It's a game of interpretation. All right. So that's difficulty 4. Difficulty 5, lesser sacrifice. These miracles take the dharma and or properties of your estate away from something. The power of fire makes a thing stop burning. The power of dreams makes something no longer a dream, but rather real.
Power of cats.
You can exempt something from one or more of your estate's properties from some less central aspects of your estate, or even cut it from your estate entirely. This is the power of banishing something from your estate. Unlike a domain miracle of destruction, this does not erase the thing outright, rather the lingering detritus of its existing in the world. The traces of definition the thing has picked up from other estates form a new basis by which the HG reconnects it to reality. This is the part where we get fucking weird.
I have make essential / noble pursuit. So I find a job that is meaningless, and I banish it from my state of unfulfilling work, and render it essential and or a noble pursuit.
So suddenly coffee making is amazing.
Yeah.
They gain status and wealth immediately because they're banished from unfulfilling labor.
To be fair, a lot of things call themselves, in real life, several job careers are like, because this is meaningful, we can afford to pay you less. So maybe.
So I could. How does sacrifice work for me?
Decide that this thing is no longer a story, so this would probably make
Not finished.
It could be unfinished. It could be
But
like
stories have
it could basically change into something that is
Ooh,
like
a TLDR. You generate a
It's a
TLDR.
summary.
well, I don't
Oh,
think you
no.
have to change it, do you? You just say it's not a story and it's not anymore without it changing.
So, what you could do with Lesser Sacrifice, since it doesn't take the thing itself, it doesn't take the story away, it takes
Right.
the meaning of the story away. So, an Aesop's fable no longer teaches us anything.
Oh, okay.
Remove morals.
So for a lesser sacrifice, I could basically say that a caterpillar turning into a butterfly isn't a change, it's just, a thing that is. And yeah.
Yes.
All caterpillars are simultaneously butterflies, or the thing still happens, it's just not recognized as a change.
Yeah, it's just not
Or
recognized.
you could choose which when you do it.
Oh, it's like bacteria where they used to think that it just spontaneously, appeared in meat, and suddenly the meat was gone. It's not a change, it's spontaneous generation. Don't eat them.
Yeah, a wave that is no longer a wave might become an escalating phenomenon.
Yeah.
So yeah, the thing itself doesn't change. The semantics around the thing
Yeah,
changes.
the meaning of the thing changes.